Wait for it. Woo! What's up? And, with a job, yeah. Woohoo! Yeah. Please keep all complaints to the first 20 minutes of the show, and... Oh, God. Certain... Yeah.
Right side of the river now.
Ghost of Tsushima.
That would have been bad.
No! Yeah. Oh, God.
I see an opening up there.
It's gonna be so good. I've been watching Kurosawa movies in preparation.
No.
Also, the international shipping thing reminded me. I like cleaned out my wardrobe the other day, and now I need to replenish my tank top collection. So I've been. Do you know how hard it is to just find regular black tank tops? I. Wait. Hold on. Wait. Blue. I don't think they can hear you at all. They're like, it's red takeover again, so... well, okay. Hold on, everybody. We're gonna figure this one out together. Well, while Blue fiddles with the audio, I watched The Old Guard last night, and it was really cool. Not to spoil, but I'd written up a script for a trope talk about immortality the other week, and I was like, oh god, they just came out with a really successful popular movie with the entire premise of this trope that I just spent like 20 minutes dissing. I gotta make sure that like maybe, I need to like rewrite it, I need to re-record stuff, and then I watched the movie and instead I was like, oh no, apparently me and the director of The Old Guard are 100% on the same page about this trope, which is a good feeling.
Fantastic. Okay, I think I'm in.
Okay.
Please take the requisite 20 minutes to tell me if I'm actually in. Well,
Okay,
hey,
okay,
this is
we
what the
think-
first 20 minutes of any OSP stream is for sorting in all the kinks. I genuinely wish that it wasn't this messy every time, but for whatever reason, there's just always something different. I swear I don't mess with the settings in between streams. It just never works.
It's
Okay,
whack.
Blue
Oh,
lives.
hold on. Chat is exploding. Okay, Blue lives. Woohoo!
Tell me if I'm too loud, and I'll turn myself down. I'll stop using my projection voice, even though I'm only about a foot away from the mic.
Yeah, that's the mood.
Go back to
Okay.
the Venice tour stream where one of the greens came in. It was like,
you're
yeah, I could
lonesome?
tell you were streaming because I heard you down the hallway
Ha!
as I was walking to our
Oh,
apartment. I'm like, ha.
Yeah. Oh god.
Yeah.
But yeah, Old Guard is really good. I don't want to like
rest in
derail this cool Uncharted stream to just completely gush about it for 2 hours, like the length of the movie. But just real quick, it's clearly kind of a spiritual successor to Highlander. Like, it has the same basic premise of when people get killed, they become immortal, and we don't know why or how it happens, but it's some kind of magical destiny thing. But it adds one thing, which is that sometimes the immortality just stops working. The person becomes mortal again. It's only happened once, but it was enough to make them be like, oh, fuck, wait. Okay, I guess we're not, like, completely indestructible bullet sponges who will outlive the heat death of the universe. That's cool. That's cool. So that makes things interesting, but the other thing that kind of shears it off from Highlander is that it has a cast of, like, 5 or 6, like, focus characters, and they all had wildly different immortal experiences. So it kind of covers this spectrum between, like, this one has, like, lost a lot of loved ones and feels like they're really lonely, and this one is, like, 7,000 years old and is kind of disconnected from humanity, and this one is stuck in some kind of eternal undying torment at the bottom of the ocean, but that's fine, don't worry about it. So, you know, that kind of, it just covers a lot, and it's a really fun exploration of the trope that I wanted to explore. So it's gonna be probably showing up as some examples.
All right,
In case
I've updated my, or not updated, I have raised my volume.
Good, okay, I was gonna say.
I've upped it. Hopefully that makes me sound a little louder, and I can attempt to actually speak and be heard. People are saying Egypt is real in the comments. I mean, yes, I don't know why this is a question. Usually what we're arguing is whether Egypt counts as Africa, which is something that assholes say, that Egypt doesn't actually count as Africa, because it's too Mediterranean, and therefore part of the civilized world.
God.
Yeah, I joke, but people actually say this shit. But no,
yeah,
Egypt is real. Egypt is real. Case closed.
Oh god. Oh no. Our good buddy Yellow has messaged me to say that the game lags pretty significantly sometimes.
Oh yeah, there's the slideshow.
Which is unfortunate,
God,
but we
why?
can't do anything about it.
My internet was pretty busted earlier this morning. There was a power outage, and then the internet just stopped until like noon. But I think this is just the same old bad lag that we always have. Ugh, gross. I wish I knew how to fix that, but internet be internet.
I mean, we'll live. It's not that laggy. It's just a little bit chunky.
Yeah.
And Uncharted doesn't exactly benefit from like 60 FPS. It's it's fine.
Oh, don't tell that to the PC crowd. If anything is less than 60 FPS, it might as well be a painting.
Didn't Yahtzee himself say like, God, I wish I had started this PC Master Race thing?
That Yahtzee started that? Oh man.
I think so. Well, I'm not sure he started the whole thing, but he definitely created the image of it, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
oh,
PC
Yachts.
Master Race.
Oh, Yachts, you boofed it.
His power is too great for this world.
Yeah. Oh man, remember when we first watched Zero Punctuation in like
God.
high school? Oh my god, it was such a brave new world.
Transcendent experience, honestly.
Yeah, for real. Finding like any cool new piece of media for the first time is like, oh, fantastic. Like the first time I saw Cyanide and Happiness cartoons, the first time I played a game of Cards Against Humanity, although I think we talked about that on a previous stream.
Yeah.
It's such a weird and like novel experience doing like a new thing for the first time when it goes on to become like a huge like pillar of, you know, internet culture or like high school snarky
The high school
culture.
Yeah. The other, I mean, honestly though, like Zero Punctuation has stayed just consistent, which is like by internet standards very impressive because I've seen so many people where it's like they get started with like a really good thing and then they like expand like crazy, or they spark off into something completely different and it changes into something completely different, or they get really big and like collapse under their own weight. And then there's just Yahtzee, who's been doing basically the same thing for like 10 years now with, you know, no loss of quality, nothing gets tired. He's got the exact same delivery. It just works really well. And like in the internet age, consistency over even a few years is like very impressive.
Seriously. I'm gonna look at my stream options here and see if there's anything
so which one of these
that I can.
No.
No.
I think the only thing, like maybe the bitrate would be able to help it, but like you can't mess with that while the stream is up.
Yeah.
So.
Darn.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Oh well.
They're not so bad at this either.
Cancel.
A little practice.
Sorry, team. Put this on in the background and go do something else while you listen to us. That's what these streams are for, anyway.
Oh boy.
Maybe it's a game-specific thing, because I don't remember it being that streamy when we were playing Assassin's Creed for the tour of Rome. But
You know what? That's a good point.
maybe
actually.
Uncharted
was
is
one-
just. Oh, we have a cameo from Miss Cleo. Come on over the couch, Cleo.
Yes.
Shoreline types.
Yep.
Come,
Say
Cleo.
meow.
Join us.
Say something. No, she's just gonna sit. And it's
Yeah.
hilarious because whenever I scratch like near her tail, her butt just goes right up into the air. It's very funny. We were playing Red and I and some of our friends were playing a game of The King's Dilemma, fantastic board game
Good
via
stuff.
Tabletop Simulator last week, and Cleo eventually decided to jump onto my table as we were playing, and I was giving Cleo some back scratches and butt scratches, and then her butt just went right up into the air. It's hilarious.
You all right?
I mean, that's how cats do, man. They people act like cats don't care, but cats do care. They just show their affection in like a different way.
Yeah.
Good
I was
stuff.
thrilled
Oh, man,
to see
Chad
the
is
other
just
day.
like,
I went
"Cleo!"
onto the TV tropes page just out of curiosity, and Cleo is on the TV tropes page.
Yes.
Which is, it's a weird feeling.
Yeah.
But
Did they list her as our HR manager?
no, that's some OSP deep lore for you. Cleo is OSP's HR manager. Whenever anyone has
yeah.
complaints, or when Indigo, while doing an edit for one of my videos, complains that I'm being too much of a nerd, or talk about Venice too much, which I don't. What does that even mean? I direct her to Cleo, where she will be promptly ignored. So.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I have to meet this cat. I swear.
One day.
I hung out with a dog for the first time yesterday, and it was a transcendent experience. So. First time in a while, not for the first time ever.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
No.
you sent me
My
pictures
first
of like
dog
family
experience
dogs
was
that you've seen.
Yes, that's not what. It's just been a while, man.
Mhm.
What with the
Oh,
incident
yeah.
and all that jazz.
Oh my God, Cleo is flat out. Wow.
Wow.
She's gone.
Aw.
That was like arriving on the scene to nap, the fastest I'd probably ever. Wow. Oh my gosh. Oh, Cleo, you're a champion.
She does the superhero landing and just like curls up into a ball and
Yeah.
passes out.
What she likes to do sometimes is when she naps, either she like, she loafs and just gets all nice and down and stealthy, or she'll like lay on her back and then one arm out like she's Michelangelo's Adam, just like
Yes.
reaching out towards heaven. It is great. Yes,
Beautiful,
my rocket
beautiful.
launcher that I have no ammo for. This is a smart decision. Yep.
I think we're actually past the part of Uncharted 4 that I ever played, so we're in uncharted territory now.
Ew. The
Hey!
thing that I actually like about this game a lot is that you spend half the game in Libertalia, whereas in Uncharted 2 you're in the Himalayas for like a third of the game. In Uncharted 3 you're in the city of Ubar for like 20 minutes. Uncharted 4 really lets you see what's going on in Libertalia, which is cool because the setting of the pirate colony itself has a lot of like thematic relevance to the overworld, so there's a lot of different stuff you can explore of like, oh, this brave new world, this mysterious island, this thriving pirate civilization. Oh wait, why are they all turning on each other? And then you see as the net progressively tightens, as not to give too many spoilers, but as we'll see. And then Uncharted 1 has like, oh, this ancient city, it's actually a box.
Yep. That is one of my favorite tropes. It's called the Apocalypse Log. And I think I mentioned this to you. And you actually told me a pretty chilling real-life example of it.
I
a
will
few weeks
absolutely
back.
spill that story after you're done.
Yeah. Right. But broadly, the trope of the Apocalypse Log is, well, not to zoom back to Zero Punctuation again, but he's mentioned that there are a lot of games where you show up in like a ruined location with like shit's fucked scrawled on the walls, and then you have to figure out how exactly shit got so fucky. I think it's okay that we're cussing. It's past a minute into the. Sorry, I realized as soon as I said it, like, wait, YouTube. Anyway, but the Apocalypse Log is when you have like a journal or a puzzle essentially that shows you something's descent into destruction. So if you're exploring like a ruined city, sometimes it'll be like, oh, the head scientist left a note that's like, tomorrow we switch on our ultimate power source. Can't wait to see how it goes. And then the next page is just like blood. Or I recently watched Event Horizon, which is a space horror movie, and it has kind of the same format for the parts that are actually good. And Uncharted 4 is like a very picturesque, nice version of that, because it's like, welcome to this ruined city. How exactly did it get so ruined? And why has nobody ever heard of this place? Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And it's just so fun because it's a really good way to build up creeping dread. Like, once you start seeing the cracks, like, okay, something went wrong here. What went wrong? What happened to the people? I mean, Uncharted actually loves that trope because they did that in, oh god, which one was it? The first one that had like the zombies or whatever? Not the zombies.
Nazi zombies, yeah, that was Uncharted 1.
Wait, Nazi zombies?
Yeah, no. Uncharted 1 was El Dorado.
Right.
El Dorado is not a city, it's a fucking bioweapon.
Oh, that's
that the
right.
Nazis found in the jungle when they were location scouting for their future homes after World War II.
Wait, I thought those were the Spaniards, though. I thought... Because
no,
remember, the Spaniards, Sully, they never left!
No, it's Spaniards and wait, Spaniards so like they never left. Was that Uncharted 1?
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah. But no, there are
remember,
also
retro
Nazis
replays.
in. Yeah, there are also Nazis in Uncharted 1. But we might be thinking of the guys from Uncharted 2 who are the baddies that drink the resin and then go mad. Also Nazis in that case.
I mean, it's clearly derived from Indiana Jones, so you got to get them Nazis in there. But I think Uncharted 1 is the one where it's like, wait, what happened to the people? And when you're asking what happened to the people, the answer is never like, oh, they went off and had like a lovely tea party and had grandkids and grew old together. No, it's always like, oh, they got mutated into these like horrifying ghoul creatures or are zombies straight up, or they got subsumed into this biomass, or it's never good.
Yeah.
What happened to the people never has a good answer.
Never good. Never good.
Yeah, but it's just such a good horror trope, like I jump scares are cheap, but if you want like you can scare someone easily, but dread is what you really need for quality horror. And the real world version that you were telling me about.
Yeah, so I've been doing some research into Plague for Friday's video, which is coming along and should be very, very good when it's done. But I was researching the effects of the plague in Italy during the first wave to promptly not actually spend that much time in the video talking about the effects of Italy in the first wave, because trying to show like a different perspective on it. But there's this one chronicler, his last name starts with a V, I should know, but I forget. And he was writing like, yes, and the plague swept through and it left desolation in its wake, and the great mortality lasted until, and it ends with a blank line because the guy was going to wait to write in when the plague stopped, but he died first.
It's just like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. It's bad.
Yeah. The funny thing is, of all the games that I didn't expect to do that, Breath of the Wild was kind of top of my list. But,
not again.
At a certain point, man.
Yeah.
But at a certain point in there, you run into Zelda's diary.
Yeah.
And, you're in like a post-apocalypse. You already know that you pretty much died fighting some scary things and everything went to shit. And it's 100 years later and things are pretty, but everything is still kind of gone to shit. And then you find Zelda's diary and she's like, oh man, our experiments with the Guardians are going really well. I can't wait to see what kind of amazing things happen. And oh, my training's going pretty rough. I just feel like I'll never be able to unleash my ultimate goddess power. And you're just sitting there, like, looking out the window at Calamity Ganon and Zelda locked in eternal combat. And you're like, I wonder how we got from here to there.
Yeah.
And there's a certain eeriness. Oh no! We're getting visual buffering again.
Yeah. Damn it. Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
It's
is
you
not
know what?
receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming as such. Open. Hold on.
It's fine. The widget will just tell you the same thing again. It doesn't give you a thing to fix it.
That's fair. Damn. Sorry, team.
Welcome to the podcast zone.
Yeah. Oh well.
What's up, everybody? Okay, hold on. Let me just.
What's up, gamers? No.
Where's Cyan? Cyan is at her real adult grown-up job.
Yeah, science
Unlike
at work.
us.
She's doing science.
Yeah, as she would say, because she's a scientist.
Yep.
Womp womp.
Someone says, next slide. Ooh.
Yeah.
Harsh.
Cruel.
Alright, this guy needs to turn around so I can shoot him in the back.
Okay. So, I've seen a few people in the comments being like, hey, you're gonna do a miscellaneous myth about this and that, and maybe. And the answer is always maybe, guys. Like, I try not to spoil stuff that far in advance, so.
God.
But anyway, yeah.
Okay, can I change the difficulty in this? I am.
Dude.
I'm dying so much. Challenge
No,
low,
the
moderate,
gamers will
light,
rip you
explorer,
apart.
Light, moderate, hard, crushing. Let's pop down to light. I'm not a real
come
gamer.
on.
Restart the current encounter.
You've committed a cardinal sin of gaming.
I don't
Oh, hey.
care.
The lag thing is gone.
Yes, this is the lag god smiling on me for changing the difficulty down to light.
Oh, God. It's like, the gamers are gonna destroy you, so I may as well give you an out real quick.
Because honestly, it's like, after the third encounter, like, if this was just me, like, I'd try to push through it and do it honestly, but, like, I want to finish the game. I don't want to be on this encounter for like 50 minutes here.
Yeah, that's fair. You know what would be fun is, I know some games give you, like, you failed this, like, 30 times. Do you want to just skip it? But what would be really fun is if you fail it enough times, it's just like, do you want to see how it would play out? And you're like, yeah. And then it has your character do some kind of awesome, cool, badass acrobatics, like Jason Bourne stuff. And then you get to the other side and you're like, yeah, I did this.
Yeah. It's like it's like the Bullet Bill in Mario Kart, but it's just the real game.
You just activate, like, Super Saiyan mode.
Yeah.
Start throwing energy blasts.
Oh man, I can't wait to be done with Uncharted 4 so we can theoretically play a game that won't be lagging as bad.
That would be nice, yeah. I feel like with Tsushima, we definitely need to make sure that the video looks good.
Yeah.
We'll need to test it a little bit.
Oop, no, there we go. Back down to crap.
It's back. It's back for revenge. But I mean, we'll just check in. Okay, yeah, we're good. Chat's basically just saying the same, like, 4 things. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, we're past 1,200 viewers. Hello, everybody. How are you enjoying the slideshow? Oh, 13. Oh, just kidding. It was 1,300 for a second, and then 6 people were like, nope, and bounced.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. Man, I'm so excited for Ghost of Tsushima. I've been seeing so much stuff about it.
I was watching Alana Pierce's review of it today, and she's like, I feel like some people are going to say the combat's bad. They just don't get it. I'm like, ah, yes, give me the spicy take.
Ooh. I think
Oh, ow. You ever taken a grenade to the face? Ow.
Oh, my luck.
Yeah, that'll do ya.
Damn.
Yeah. I'm so excited because, like, I've seen all the visuals, and of course, earlier we were like, yeah, you know, the visuals look great, but, you know, if the gameplay doesn't feel good, then it's not gonna work. But now it's like, everyone's like, this game! Ah!
Yeah.
Which is a good sign.
So, we shall see.
Hang on.
We will. I'm excited. Oh, and, you may have heard it has a Kurosawa mode included, where the whole thing goes black and white.
Yes. And windy as
Yeah.
hell, don't forget that.
Oh, I forgot about the wind. Oh yeah, and some of you who might not have followed my goofy live tweet, I watched the Kurosawa movie The Hidden Fortress, like last week or something. It's time's not me. And it's weird. Like, I mean, obviously Kurosawa's a great director, and all of his movies are therefore like a base level of quite good. But the pacing of movies has changed a lot in the last few decades. Like, shots are shorter, things are cut together quicker, and I'm not even touching on, like, fight choreography, which in modern day is really frenetic to basically make up for the fact that the actors are not actually trained how to fight.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, in Hidden Fortress, when there's a 5-minute spear battle between 2 of the characters, it's like, yeah, you know what? I buy this. This actually looks, like, tense and worrying, whereas, you know, a modern fight scene, every Drummer Painting did a thing about this.
Yeah, Jackie Chan had to do action combat.
Yeah, exactly. But in a modern fight scene, it's like, you cut, the person throws a punch, and then you cut to the person getting quote-unquote punched.
Yeah.
But if you, like, look at it, you're like, okay, you didn't touch him. That's fine. Whatever. But because of, I mean, yeah, fight choreography has gotten way more frenetic to make up for the fact that the people behind it can't really carry actually the choreography themselves. But the actual pacing of the rest of the movie has also changed. Like, shots will go on about 40% longer than I'm used to in a Kurosawa movie.
That's it.
Because,
Okay?
you know, the way I would think about this is like you use the shot, and then once the audience gets the idea, you cut to a new shot. So like these 2 goobers are trying to climb a scree slope and having a bad time of it for 2 straight minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I feel like after 15 seconds I got the joke. But you know, I feel like the other thing about it is the Hidden Fortress is kind of unusual for Kurosawa movies because it's kind of like a comedy. Sort of. It's because here's the thing. There's the A plot and the B plot. And the A plot is that there's this couple of hapless peasants who spend the whole movie not knowing what's going on. And then the B plot is this incredibly intense, like, drama with this princess of a lost kingdom and her bodyguard who's keeping her safe as they sneak into a neighboring kingdom where they can rebuild their empire. And, like, the peasants who are guiding them don't know about this until the final, like, minute of the movie. They just think that this bodyguard guy is an asshole, and they buy his story that this mysterious girl they're traveling with is mute and not anybody important, and definitely not that missing princess everyone's trying to capture. And they buy it for the entire movie. They're only interested in getting rich. So it would be kind of like... And the thing is, this is like a very classic story structure, which means the audience of the movie is looking at this thing, and it would be like if they're playing out what is clearly like a chivalric romance, but we're following like Abbott and Costello as the main characters. So, you know, there's a classic Kurosawa movie in the background, but we're stuck following these two a-holes instead. And I think that's the joke. It's just, for me, I was like, it's not that funny to me, because I'm kind of bored instead, and I want to see more bodyguard and princess stuff. But that's fine, because, you know, that movie's like 70 years old at this point.
Yeah.
So it makes sense it wouldn't quite, you know, line up with with the current taste and pacing that's been cultivated by the way movies and TV shows are shot these days.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just trying to read the chat to see what's going on. Someone was
talking about
asking if
Good
you can talk
Omens?
over an important cutscene so they get bingo.
The only way out is up.
Trust me, I
Too
think
high
it's
for a
happening
boost.
soon.
Well, no dragons, so you've got that one.
Hey!
I have not commented on the quality of the game design, up or down, so you haven't gotten that one yet.
True.
Have to specifically say GGD for it to count. Otherwise, nope, no bingo for you.
No bingo.
You know, I feel like I'm always stuck on this part of like, what the hell do I need to get up here to make this happen?
Hey, I see some boxes and supplies up
I
there.
do like these settings. That everything is slightly tilted.
Yeah.
Get one down
just-
for us.
I mean, it's an island, you know?
Mhm.
Soil shifts.
Yeah.
And this whole building is kind of slowly sliding into the sea. And I like that kind of design.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorite, just easy pieces of game design, where it's you take a familiar environment and then you tilt it at a funny angle, or
Yep.
you flip it upside down or something. Oh man, I haven't heard anyone talk about this game in like actually years. But does anyone remember when they tried to reboot the Devil May Cry franchise with the DMC Devil May Cry?
Oh yeah.
Everyone thought that game was stupid as all fuck, which as far as I can tell it was. But I saw a lot of people being like, but the environment designs were really cool. Like, there's a boss fight that takes place inside one of those bombastic, like, news station logos. The crazy spinning, like, globes and arcs
Oh, wow.
and glowy red backgrounds and stuff. And I think there's one that takes place entirely in the upside-down reflection of the cityscape. So, you know, like, the game is weird and goofy, and I have no goddamn idea what the plot was, but environment designs and fight setups were pretty cool. So, I guess maybe we could call that good game design?
Yeah,
that's fine.
fine. Good game design. Come on, let
You're
me
welcome, bingo players.
Push this box. There we go.
Down below.
Oh, shout out to the guy in the comments who's literally playing DMC right now.
Oh, sorry, buddy. Didn't mean to put you
Yeah.
on blast.
Yeah, didn't mean to sass you. I just haven't heard anyone talk about that game in ages.
Get a hold of it.
Now, just out of sheer curiosity, like, are all of you guys watching this, like, on your main window? Which, if you are, I guess I'm sorry, but, like, does anyone do
Yeah.
other stuff while they listen to our streams? Just kind of curious.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll find out soon.
'Cause clearly
But
it's not like you can actually watch anything on our streams, so I feel bad.
Well, enough people are saying that it's really laggy or a slideshow that they have to be using their eyes at some point.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I wish I knew how to fix this. I really did.
I think we'll live. I mean, we are trying to finish it, so.
Yeah.
After you.
Oh, how sweet.
Oh, you were gonna say you like made a playlist this morning or
Oh
something?
yeah, this
There's a
morning
funny
I
story
made
about that?
a playlist because as Red and I were talking about stuff before the stream, she mentioned the word vibes, and I made a playlist with only Gregorian chants, and I named
boy.
it Medieval Vibes, but translated into Latin.
Ah, fantastic.
I think it was like Medi Iwe Affecti or something, like medieval feelings, I think I had to render it as. Like, this is the dumb shit I'm doing on my Tuesday morning.
Oh, there's that like new channel that's been doing like bardcore remixes and covers of.
Oh yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
if I've just like noticed this subgenre exists or if it's exploded onto the scene, but there are a lot of places that do like medieval minstrel renditions of modern pop songs. Like
Yeah.
somebody that I used to know, or Pumped Up Kicks, except instead of a gun, it's someone who brought their bow.
Yeah.
All you bully rooks with your buskin' boots, best you go, best you go. I brought my bow.
Right. That's
yeah.
okay. So the main one is a fairly new channel. It's only like I thought it had to be way older because it was really good, but it's only got like 6 videos on it. And it's Hildegard von Blingen.
Oh yeah.
With 570,000 subscribers, which is really impressive for how young it is. But she just did Jolene in bardcore medieval style.
Oh wow.
I beg of thee, take not my lord. Highly recommend,
Fantastic.
basically.
The way they do the
Like-
lyrics is the best part, because with somebody that I used to know, it's you didn't need to stoop so low, have a friend collect your records and then change your number. In this one it's send a wagon for thy minstrel and refuse my letters.
Yeah. It's
God.
super, honestly, like, because it's not that hard to, like, throw a lute in the background and some, like, fife music or whatever. But in
Yeah.
this case, it's like, no, you rework the lyrics, you make sure it still scans,
Yup.
and then it's, like, a transcendent experience.
Yeah.
Anyone who is, like, running a D&D game and is using, like, ambient background music, the next time they're in a
Oh my
tavern,
God,
like,
throw that
filter
shit
the
on.
yeah, filter the Jolene thing through, like, a slightly, like, muffled next door style B in Final Cut, and just let that shit play like it's being played through the opposite wall, and see how long it takes for them to notice.
Oh, beautiful. That's so smart.
Yeah.
They didn't expect
Yeah.
you to fight.
Hey,
the
the
my other
Greens,
recommendation-
who is a DM of my band of Greens, you know what to do.
Yeah, you know what you must do. The other thing, it's not bardcore, but it is kind of the same, like, take a song and then put it in a completely different social context. Postmodern jukebox.
Yes.
I mean, they're like really older and established at this point, but you know, in case you haven't heard of them, look them up. There will be something there that you really like.
Yep.
My favorite one so far, just for the sheer cognitive dissonance, like, I would be listening to this, and anyone else in the room, like 2 minutes in, would finally figure out what the hell they were hearing and be like, what is that? So what I recommend is look up their cover of Gangster's Paradise in the style of, like, 1920s Al Capone-like music.
Oh my God.
It's another kind of gangsta, you see. Anyway, highly recommend. It's really good. They also had a Torch song version of Say It Ain't So, which I think is the only way that song should ever be performed from now on. Like, Say It Ain't So is like crunchy classic rock, but once you have someone with a serious set of pipes singing it, you're like, no, yeah, this was meant to be, like, belted out with, like, strings and sax in the background. You gotta, it's honestly, it's just so good, and the production value is really good, and everyone dresses real fancy. It's just a treat. It's really good.
I mean,
I'll choose to take that as a compliment.
Oh yeah, and their version of Stacy's mom is also quite good.
Which one is that? What do they do for that one?
It's kind of jazzy and upbeat. They've got, like, this one singer who's, like, this big guy with a beard, and, like, he plays the cello sometimes, but, like, the plucked cello, and he just sings along with this really, like, they don't change the lyrics for that one. It's just really upbeat and peppy. He was also the one who did their cover of Charlie Puth's Attention.
Ooh.
And it's
Gotta
like,
love that song.
it's good. Yeah, the thing is, it's one of the ones where, like, I think I like the original a little bit better just because it's more, like, instrumented, and Charlie Puth's vocals are, like, very much part of that.
Oh, Charlie
but-
Puth never misses.
Yeah.
Even if the song is bad, like, his voice is good.
Okay, Yeah, he's a good performer. Sometimes the songs are a little whack, but
let me
Attention
amend that
was, like...
statement. Some of the first album, kind of garbage, but he always sounds good, even when it's him singing on a bad song.
Yep.
I'll
Just
save
real quick,
myself
chat.
on that.
Chat, real quick. Yes, happy non-binary day. Please stop spamming the chat with it. People are trying to have a conversation.
Yeah,
Happy non-binary
no
day,
spam.
trans rights. Yeah.
this up.
Even if it's spam that we agree with, no spam.
Yeah. Music. My auto-generated YouTube playlists have been quite the eclectic mess recently because of that.
Yeah.
It it segues randomly between like postmodern jukebox and like Ninja Sex Party and
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the cognitive dissonance of
recently a
going
lot of-
from a bardcore remix of the fucking Halo soundtrack to suddenly our boy Danny's just blaring
Yeah.
about oh god, what's that one Orgy for One is the
Orgy
funniest
for One.
NSP song.
Yeah, no, that one's just really good musically.
Yeah.
That's another one where I'll be listening to it and anyone else in the other room will like slowly realize what the
Yeah.
lyrics are
Oh
and
my
kind of
gosh.
start
Okay, real
judging
quick.
me.
We were talking over this cutscene, but this is like such a good cutscene. It's probably my
Oh,
favorite
yeah,
cutscene
yeah.
in all of Uncharted. So I just kind of want
Okay.
to watch this one.
Hell yeah.
Sorry guys,
Oh my
no
God.
bingo for
No
you
worries.
today.
It's them. Elena, these other pirate captains have founded Libertalia. What the hell happened here?
Well, I'm no forensics expert, but I would say bad drinks.
Apparently.
So what was this? Some kind of wealthy pirate suicide cult?
Yeah, not likely. Not these guys.
On behalf of Lord Avery, I invite you to my manor at sundown tomorrow. The time has come to abandon our animosities and reunite under the banner of
Shout out to the
God
guy in the chat going,
and
oh, this
liberty."
is my favorite part of the slideshow.
Signed Thomas too.
Oh, we've been got.
What do you bet?
Yep.
Thomas 2, Henry Avery. Looks like our hosts didn't stick around to clean up their mess.
Well, that wasn't very gracious of them.
Okay, so these guys sparked a full-scale revolt when they claimed the treasure for themselves. Now, they took care of the colonists, but then they had to deal with each other. And I'm guessing things got pretty messy. So, Avery and 2 invite them up here to,
Abandon our animosities.
abandon the animosities.
Ah, damn it. I talked over the cutscene and they got
Avery.
bingo. Sorry.
Makes a grand toast. For God and liberty. Arg, ahoy, mateys, all that.
Betrayed by my own inability to shut up for more
They
than
all
2
take a
minutes at a
swing.
time.
Except these two. And just like that, all the treasure of Libertalia becomes the sole possession of 2 men. These are some of history's greatest pirates. And they all perished.
The best part of this cutscene is just
In an
Elena's
instant.
expression the whole time. Like, you can tell exactly what's
very
going on in
table.
her mind. Oh, it's so well done.
Yeah. I mean, not to like completely derail, it's just this is another really good illustration of how well these two work together when they're actually communicating.
Yeah.
Like,
I,
Nathan is kind of a goober, but he is also very smart, and he's putting together this really complicated image, and she's just like, yep, this is the guy who I want to spend the rest of my life with.
Yeah.
So
It's just
since
really
our
sweet.
missing hosts aren't here at Two's Manor.
And again, Elena never lets the moment linger too much. She
head over to
always
Avery's.
transitions off to another subject. This happens every single
Yep.
time they have one of these moments. Oh, man.
I get the feeling that it's almost like a survival thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
as fun as this is, they are in a pretty bad situation, and it's like, listen, we do not have time to resolve our marital disputes right now.
Yeah.
Just know that they're hanging in the air, and we're gonna deal with them when we get home and safe and have like a shower and set whatever broken bones we get, and you know.
Yeah. No, but the reason
she's
that
very practical.
Yeah, the reason this scene is so great is, you know, obviously because of like the set dressing, and it's like it's a very big thing, and you see like Nate is puzzling it together and realizing like the thematic elements of this whole game is like treasure is insidious, and that the networks that it creates will invariably turn on themselves. And you see, like, as we were going back through the houses of these 12 big pirates in Libertalia, making our way towards this mansion, there were cannon holes in the houses. There were cannons on people's front porches to point at the other pirate houses. Like, these guys were at war with each other for a while, and then obviously they called it off, brought it back, you know, God and Liberty and all that, and then they still end up killing each other, and then the net deepens just to Two and Avery. And then Drake is, like, trying to contain his glee at, like, seeing this thing in front of him that he's here to experience with, like... Oh, this is pretty fucked, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really well done,
like,
and it's a great illustration
I
of like the fundamental theme of this movie is that this movie.
Movie. We said the quiet part out loud.
Freudian slip of this game that, you know, treasure is very much a corrupting influence.
I'm okay. I got it.
Which reminds me of my favorite pirate movie of all time, Muppet Treasure Island. It's a musical. And I'm being dead serious about this. I'm like 100% serious. You should watch this movie with someone who has never seen the movie. Because you'll be like, yeah, it's a Muppet movie. You know how the Muppets were doing like versions of like other stories? Yeah, they did Muppet Treasure Island. And they'll be like, that's cool. The opening number of Muppet Treasure Island is a crew of pirates burying their treasure on this like deserted beach. And like the things that are singing the song are like the environment and the animals and the critters, not the pirates. The pirates, it's like this musical number is non-diegetic. Like the pirates don't know what's happening, but they're singing about like, it's the lust for treasure. It's straight up about that. Like one of the lines is, "There are hungers as strong as the wind and tide," which has stuck with me since I was 4 years old.
Pretty metal.
It's so metal! Listen, the last line in that song is, "Shiver my timbers, shiver my sails, dead men tell no tales." And then the pirate captain shoots into the camera, killing the two guys who were burying his treasure for him. And then the movie starts!
Wow.
It's so good!
That's exactly what
I didn't realize that
Yeah.
Muppet Treasure
If you
Island
can't
was
watch the movie, just
art
look
house
up the...
horror.
This sounds like my first job.
Yeah, man! If you can't watch the movie, just look up the soundtrack. It's on YouTube. It's super good. Although I think the soundtrack version doesn't include the gunshot at the end, which is really an essential part of the experience, if you ask me. But that's whatever. It's
The
whatever.
point is,
Mark Brown from Game Maker's Toolkit, whom I have talked about and praised at length, has a video talking about environmental storytelling where he uses this example of when we were down there a little bit earlier. It's like, why is there a piano in this like cellar area? And then it's like, yes, the floor in the music room up here collapsed. A little bit of environmental storytelling. Anyway.
You know what I would love? If there was like a squished pirate skeleton under it.
Oh, that'd be great.
Someone got Looney Tunes.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Right, and
man.
then out we go. Oh man, before I knew exactly what the extent of this game was, and I was still expecting for there to be like a supernatural evil presence, this is where I was expecting it to happen, because this room is way too open for there not to be a monster lurking. But this game changed the script by making the monster people, unlike the last 3 games where the monster was monsters.
It's like... I like how Uncharted 4 went in completely the opposite direction to like Indiana Jones 4, where with Uncharted 4 it's like, the real monster is man, and then with Indiana Jones 4 it was like, the real treasure was alien knowledge.
Yeah.
It's like, way to ground yourselves in reality, my guys.
Let's,
Like, listen, I bought the Immortal Crusader, I bought the Holy Grail, but the aliens, okay.
Hey, here we go.
Oh, that'd be a fun Immortals trope where it's like a crusader who like still really wants to get the Holy Land back, and it's like, no, like it's Israel now, like just leave it, buddy. That conflict has way too many dimensions. We're not crusading anymore. And they're like, oh, but I wanna.
But it's the whole point, and it's like, no, come on, my guy.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Oh god, I just remembered I'm just having like weird flashbacks to Bioshock Infinite. Do you remember the ghost fight? Like you fight your ghost mom or something?
Oh,
Or
fuck that thing.
Elizabeth's ghost mom? I only
Yeah.
have very vague memories. Like, it was another case where the person with the actual emotional investment in the fight is your dependent NPC, and you're the one who's doing the fighting. So, like, the ghost mom is yelling at Elizabeth, and Elizabeth is yelling at the ghost mom, and you're the one running around firing crows out of your hands, trying not to die. It's like, ladies, maybe you could sort this out at any other time.
Yeah.
Any other situation.
Yeah. Ooh,
Oh shit! Shoreline!
guns. Oh yeah, big boy with Oh, okay. That's me on a one-way road to dying.
Ah, my luck.
Yeah. Beautiful luck points. There we go. Thank you for oh no! Oh my! Almost shot Elena.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, off we go.
Honestly, I'm just really happy that, like, while the video is lagging, the audio is somehow really crisp.
Yeah,
like,
improbably.
I don't know how, but
Oh fuck.
no.
Whoops.
We're in like the light mode difficulty, right?
Yeah.
Making sure, just so the audience is okay.
So they don't think that I'm actually too good at this game. Because again, the one thing we've learned from OSP streams is that I'm bad at video games. I'm actually like quite bad at video games compared to like anyone who actually does like streaming for anything approximating a living. Oop. Oh,
Then
buddy,
again,
you ran
video
in
games-
front of my gun at the wrong time. Did you
Then
see
again,
that?
video games are meant to be fun, and I'd say that as long as you're having a fun time, you're good at video games.
No, you have to win. Because then the stream says mean things about your video game skills.
See,
No, it's
okay,
fine.
guys, so listen, I recently got Smash Ultimate, and like most fighting games with large rosters, you don't get the full roster unlocked at the beginning, and so I had to go through and unlock the roster, because here's the thing, with fighting games, I find one character that I like to play, and then I never play anyone else. This is just my MO. It's just, I'm really bad at developing the muscle memory for anyone else. So my boy is Ike. My boy is Ike. I've mentioned this a few times. So I needed to unlock Ike. As it turns out, that happens about 75% of the way through the story mode, so I was just grinding along. But here's this thing about Smash Ultimate, and Smash in general. Most of the fights feel really good. Ah, heck. But yeah,
Oh,
most of them
teamwork.
feel... Damn. But yeah, most of them feel good to play. Most of the time, it feels good. But when it doesn't, oh boy, you get tilted so fast. It's just it's mind-blowing, because some of the way the story mode works is essentially you navigate through this very large sprawling map, and and there are fights sporadically placed around the map, where like it'll be one of the characters, but they've got like a modification, like they're metal or harder to hit, or they heal faster, and they've got like a support assist trophy or something.
Okay, here we go.
Some of those fights are cartoonishly easy, and they feel great. Like, for example, if it's like, defeat this army of tiny Diddy Kongs, it's basically just like, I'm just gonna swing my giant fuck-off sword and hit 3 people off the screen every time I move, and it's gonna feel amazing.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you have to fight a regenerating metal Sonic with an assist trophy that bounces you off the stage.
Really?
And I don't think I think I still haven't beaten that one, actually. And when they feel bad, it just like sinks into the pit of your stomach and stays there. You just don't feel good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Smash is a harsh mistress, my dudes.
Destroy the dam, cleanse New Devon.
Yeah, and here we go. This is when 2 and Avery start to turn on each other,
Move my treasure through the passage to.
which we totally didn't see
You and Avery turned on
coming
each
a mile
other.
away.
Are you
Not
really
at all.
surprised?
Not the
guess not.
betraying pirates betraying each other. That's impossible.
Thanks.
No, Lord Stabbington McBackstab, I can't believe you'd betray me too.
Yeah.
Let's go find that
God.
passage.
Oh, Cleo's just having the thickest nap over here.
Yes.
Oh, another fancy music
I'm
room.
gonna-
Oh, God, look at this. How did they build all this junk? Gosh.
Do you think like the Dutch East India Company was like,
There's no more footprints.
yeah, this entire shipment of grand
Okay,
pianos
so
went missing in the middle of the Pacific. We don't know what happened.
around.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, is like a lot of ships just kind of didn't come back for either, you know, they got sunk, or they just kind of went to some random coast and set up shop and avoided coming back to the crown to pay those dastardly taxes. You know, there was a point in early East Indian Ocean exploration where like half the ships just didn't come home. So you really needed to create financial instruments approaching what the British East India Company ended up being, which was a joint stock company, as opposed to like crown managed expeditions like under Portugal, because it was way too financially risky to send out a bunch of ships and have half of them just not come back, where, you know, any individual merchant would be bankrupted. But if, you know, like 60 rich guys pool their money together, then between all of them the hit wouldn't be that bad, and then on the whole you'd still end up making a ton of money. But oh boy, a lot of stuff went missing in the early 1700s.
One of the oh god, I swear this is directly related. The Count of Monte Cristo has this really interesting theme of things falling through the cracks and being forgotten. And there are two main things that this applies to. One of them is the main character, who gets imprisoned, and basically they literally throw away the key and forget about him. And the other one is the treasure that he gets that later helps him take his revenge. Because that treasure was like the cumulative wealth of a family that completely died out. And the only person who knew it was there was the old man, who had been like a teacher to that family. And then he was also stuck in jail and forgotten, and the key was thrown away. And there's this because, you know, part of the way that Edmond like functions is by taking advantage of the fact that ships get lost, things get forgotten, people fall through the cracks, and that lets him operate in secret. And there's just a big part of that where it's like, oh, we lost like this huge treasure vanished, but we don't think it was real in the first place because nobody alive knows about it. So we're just like, oh, it's a buried treasure. Sure it is. Or like, oh, this ship is gone. That's strange. It's like, yeah, well, sometimes that just happens. And it's just a very... The funny thing is, I didn't actually put that theme together until you mentioned that, like, yeah, it was risky and shit just went missing. But there's a huge theme in that book, unsurprisingly, about, like, the disenfranchised and the forgotten, and how this is a space that you can operate through to just wreak incredible amounts of havoc. And the funny part is, I don't think any pirates actually show up, even though there is some direct correlation. There's a bandit named Luigi, but I don't think that has any correlation.
Oh, probably not.
No.
Oh, this part of the game is kind of annoying. Not as bad as the old lady 12-year-old house heist.
Look,
but,
oh god.
You know when...
I think that's the harshest we've ever been on this game.
It's... Oh, there we go. Yeah. I love that they encourage you to shake the controller. That's fun. You know when game developers don't entirely know what to do with the section, so they implement a weird mechanic that they didn't test for more than about 3 weeks, and then just kind of shove it in for about 10 minutes of gameplay? That's what this section is.
Oh god.
No hate for the amazing and talented people at Naughty Dog, but they spent a lot of effort on this game. It was not equally distributed. That is not an insult, that's a reality of game design. This is just one of the places where they spend a little bit less effort.
Yeah. There's always going to be a part of a project, like... Ed.
I'm sorry, what the fuck?
Sorry, I'm on like a lag. What happened?
You'll see.
Oh boy, I'll keep an eye out. Hold on. Bear in mind, I'm also watching it in slideshow quality, so...
I stepped on the wrong thing and it exploded. I realized I need to follow the muddy footprints of where all the people who knew where the explodey ones were walked instead.
Yeah, I was like, he's just standing. Oh, okay. Now he's in pieces.
Would it help if I bumped it up to come on, hold on here. If I bumped it to normal latency instead of low?
I don't know if you can do that during the stream. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Oh well.
Yeah, it's fine. It's whatever.
Lena, look.
Oh god, my brain is just bouncing between this and more Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you gotta follow in the right footsteps and don't step on the J because they didn't have J. I'm know I'm not the only person to notice that, like, if they didn't have the letter J, why the fuck is it on this ancient tile floor?
Yeah.
Someone's like, this is really gonna screw with people when they reformat the alphabet in 500 years.
Good thing I can manage to no. Good thing I can predict linguistic drift 500 years in advance.
Yeah.
You know, you love when you want to say something funny and then your tongue just betrays you and then you look like a dumbass in front of 1,400 people.
Oh, the worst. Oh, speaking of, hello, 1,400 people. How's it hanging?
Ooh, nope. Oh no.
I have to find another way.
Okie doke. Yeah, we're definitely not finishing today, but maybe on Thursday.
Oh no. Just hold on
Hopefully,
a little
yeah.
Longer.
We could just do one where it's like, all right, we've got coffee, we've got all the time in the world, we are finishing this one.
Damn it.
Come on,
I mean, it's
game.
easy for me to say. I'm not the one actually playing it, so.
Yeah.
Good idea.
I also love that Elena's the one
person
with
in-
all the good ideas in here.
Person in chat, I only very vaguely know any actual Fire Emblem lore,
Like a goddamn
because
chimney on the
those
boat
games are
over.
weird, and I don't really get them. But as I understand it, Ike is extremely cool, and I've been told by trusted sources, namely Magenta, that at one point he fights a god and is like, I don't know what gods pray to, but you should probably start. It's like, oh shit!
That's funny.
So yeah, he's my boy.
Hello?
The other thing I like about him as a character is how much, like, the game likes and respects him. In some of the earlier games, there would be little Easter eggs, like, Snake could do a codec call and get information about the people he was fighting. And as I understand it, if he made a call and, like, Ike was in the field,
Glad you came prepared.
Otacon would say something like, oh, that guy's whatever, who cares, you know, Otacon. And Snake is like, that guy's swinging around a two-handed sword like it's nothing. I'm not getting anywhere near him. And I was like, yes, that's my boy! So, you know,
great.
I always like it when the franchise my favorite character is in also likes and respects that character.
Yeah.
I mean, I've talked about that the Avengers cartoon, Earth's Mightiest Heroes,
I was
and how
just
much
going
I
to
like.
say,
Yeah.
get you a cartoon that loves
Yeah.
Thor as much as Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Yeah, that is a show that loves it some Thor and really respects that boy. Which, you know, in contrast with the MCU in general, is a kind of a breath of fresh air sometimes. Sometimes you just want to see people respect your boys.
Nate. Hey, it's this way.
Okay, fine. I'm not gonna stand on the explodey box. A couple of people ask about, or actually, no, one person on repeat asks about guards coming back for readings. No, it's
Yeah.
legally a no.
I still haven't heard back from them, is the thing,
Which
and
means
like,
no.
it basically means no. They actually have a little thing on their website that's like, if we haven't responded, that doesn't mean yes. So it's like, okay. And at this point, I'm not really expecting a response because, you know, sometimes the way you phrase something almost implies that you're expecting an answer within a certain time frame. And I was like, when I sent them the email, I was like, I streamed the first part, and only then did I realize this might be a bit morally dubious. So, you know, like, could you please tell me if I can continue? I'm already planning on recording the second part tomorrow. But if you tell me not to, I won't do that. But after that, I won't do anything. And they just didn't respond at all. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm recording the second part and then nothing after that.
Yeah.
So, you know, in like 2022, when they're like, no, fuck off, I'll be like, cool, all right. But yeah, it's just, you know, this is a really weird area because to me, it's like, I'm just reading a book out loud. How can that be illegal? But, copyright is a very, very strange thing.
And some people are very litigious about it, where it doesn't necessarily, even if it wasn't necessarily protected by various like copyright, trademark, and stuff, someone can just say, hey, don't do this or I will sue you, and that's enough of a deterrent.
Yeah, it's just better not to mess with that.
There's like the
and in this
frontman
case,
for
it's
Metallica
copyright.
is like notoriously litigious about stuff, which is
Oh God, really?
Yeah.
No. But yeah, it's a weird area. Copyright as a whole is just very strange to me.
Yeah.
Like overall, I totally get it. You know, if you make a work, you want it to be protected. You don't want people taking the credit for it.
What the hell is this?
But when people are like trying to like sue based on these songs use the same chord progression, or like you used a snippet of code from this other thing in this project, that's the part where I'm like, that's weird and dumb. Are you really allowed to own like units of art like that?
Yeah, music copyright
especially the code
laws-
thing, because it's like,
Yeah, it's wacky.
yeah, music copyright law is a huge mess, but also like, and there's like whole channels devoted to that because you know, people, whenever someone gets really like musically successful, people just emerge out of the woodwork to be like, I want to sue you on behalf of this artist who's been dead since 1812, but I think you ripped off his intro, and it's like, oh, and you get money from that?
Yeah.
But the one that upsets me personally is code for programming, because it's like, I get it, I totally get it, but if there's a snippet of code that does a thing that you need it to do, and you're like, I'm not allowed to use this because somebody else wrote it.
Yeah.
What was that?
It's like, oh, so you just, I mean, it's kind of like how when you're writing an essay and you need to phrase something in your own words, so you like go in with the dictionary and you like, you swap out a word for a synonym and you like, you rephrase it in the third person to make it seem, but it's like, that's token, that's not actually, if the point is to make something work, like, nobody's copyrighted a specific kind of gear, and you're not allowed to use it because that gear was made by this other person, you know? You put a patent on that, and then you get, like, I don't know what you get. I don't really know how patent law works, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
like, you don't copyright a tool and say no one else can use this because I made it. You put a patent on the tool and say nobody else can say that they made it, but they can still use it. And
use
with programming,
it with licensing.
it seems
the
like
idea of
that's
a patent is that you have the main rights to use the thing you invented, but other people can license the right to use it. I have some experience with patent stuff for various reasons that's too long to describe.
But yeah, when it comes to something that's fully functional and like units of that functional thing, like, you know, a snippet of music or a slice of code, it seems to me like trying to say you can't use this because I made it first or because I'm claiming that I made it first and now I'm gonna drain you legally until you don't have any fight left in you. It's just, I don't know. Legal stuff really weirds me out because well, it's a very weird specialized area, and it's a very weird specialized branch of how to use the English language. You know, like, legalese is such a highly specific thing. And, you know, we use the English language as a tool, but in a completely different direction, you know, because we write and deliver, we write and we act. And that's like the opposite end of the spectrum from legalese, where it's like treating the English language as though it's a precise, specific thing where every phrase can only mean one thing, which is the complete opposite of how art works, where everything is double and triple meanings and stuff like that. So everything about this confuses me, and I don't like it. So that's the short of it.
Yeah, doubling back to the game, what annoys me is the exploding mummies, which, as far as I can tell, serve no purpose in the gameplay and are just kind of annoying and make your screen explode. And it's like whether they will actually kill you is very dubious and clearly not playtested very much compared to the rest of the game. But I am not going to start throwing stones when I'm not a game designer.
The mental whiplash going from legalese to man, these exploding mummies are really giving me a hard time. It's like, what? Because I haven't been looking at the screen. I was like, oh yeah, the excuse me, the what? Hold up.
And it's like, how did these guys get in front of me? Like, what the hell? Like, I get that you need to, like, respect the pacing of, like, oh, it's been too long without a combat encounter, someone throws some guns in here, but, like, come on.
You know, that is always fun, because aren't they, like, relying on you to find this, kind of?
No, Sam
Isn't
has
that,
been
like...
leading the way. But, like, how come they didn't explode all the mummies?
Didn't Sam get shot, like, 2 hours ago in gameplay?
No, he got shot, but he didn't die.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains everything.
You know the thing that they did in Uncharted 1?
Oh, that's right.
Sully.
Wait. Oh, yeah!
Yeah.
I do remember, because, you know, I experienced Uncharted 4 before I ever had any exposure to Uncharted 1. And watching the retro replay when they shot Sully, I was like, no! What? Hold on.
Oh, exploding mummies. Gotta love them. Someone says, when did my slideshow turn into a game? It's more likely than you think.
Maybe it's powered by my rants.
Yeah.
The more outraged I get about a random subject, the better the internet works.
It's like, it doesn't matter if the explosions are in your face or not, like the way that pressure systems work, like everybody in this room will die if one grenade goes off.
You know what? That's a really solid point, and I feel like video games don't really deal with that very much.
No, explosions in indoor spaces are yikes.
Yep, it's bad.
Oh, I died. Wait, when did my cover box go away?
Maybe it got destroyed by all those bullets flying at it. In fact, looking at it on about a 30-second delay, that's exactly what happened. It just exploded in front of you, but because you were like, you know, focusing on shooting, you didn't notice all the wood shrapnel.
There we go.
Well, for once I appreciate Avery's exploding mummies.
Ooh, big drop.
I suppose it's not surprising that my brain keeps wandering back to Indiana Jones watching this movie.
No.
Game, sorry, said the quiet part out loud again.
Christmas tree.
I don't see any footprints. We must be on
Oh
a
man,
different route
I really
than
hope those
others.
movies hold up. I haven't
Alright, let's see if we
watched
can
them
catch
more
up.
than once. There was a phase early in high school when I was like, I gotta watch all these movies that are like classics that I've never seen. And I had secret insider information that
hello.
Indiana Jones 2 and 4 sucked, so I'd only watched 1
I
and
guess
3.
this loops around.
And that was the correct
so.
thing to do.
I've seen 1
But
and
I've only
2.
watched them once
I've not
each, and
seen
I was-
3, and I've been appraised that 3 is very good.
Dead men tell no tales.
Yes, 3 is excellent. It's got Sean Connery.
Oh, nice.
It's got a really, really funny line in a post-Frozen world, because there's this character in the movie named
Oh,
Elsa.
yeah, Let It Go. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I've heard
Elsa.
about that.
Let it go. Yeah, the thing is, I was watching it for the first time in a post-Frozen world, so when that happened, I lost my shit in this
Yeah.
very dramatic, like, climactic moment of the movie. It's good stuff. But yeah, like, the first one is good to establish the character, and then the second one is bad, and then the third one is good to be like, yeah, you remember, who could possibly play the dad of such a badass character? The last generation's badass, Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good stuff.
Oh, Cleo's awake. Hi, Cleo. Oh, sorry.
She lives.
I tapped her on the back and spooked her a little bit. Oh, there she goes. She's gonna investigate and or just have a snack.
Yes.
Where on earth am I supposed to go here? Oh, there she goes. That was a good nap. That was like an hour.
Power app.
Looks
no,
like
that's
a
where it
fight
came
broke
from.
out.
Oh no,
Yeah,
this is
two's men versus Avery's.
cool. This is the right direction.
Hooray. Yeah, we are well past anything I know about this game.
Good.
I already made the joke, so I'm not going to make the joke again, but oh, the temptation.
Hello.
And yeah, person in the comments, it definitely makes sense that Indy's father is James Bond, which I'm like 100% sure was the joke at
What's
the
that
time.
note?
Right.
It would be,
Yeah.
who's like the iconic badass right now? I guess it would kind of be like having Arnold Schwarzenegger playing someone's dad.
It's from
Or
two,
oh no,
isn't
no,
it?
they did this in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Because Rose's dad is like Machete or something.
You can use the key to get out
Or
of here.
like the actor
That's good.
for him. And that's the joke, like who could be the father of such a badass? Oh, last generation's
There's some
badass.
symbols on the
Yeah.
back.
Well, let's go find a keyhole.
Cool. Whatever. Let's see if this means we
I'm
have to do
gonna
a
make
puzzle
like
in 2
100%
seconds.
sure I didn't just say that wrong. Because I'm gonna feel bad if I'm mixing up my badass Hispanic actors.
Oh boy.
Don't look at me, I'm Googling.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah, it's Danny Trejo, I was right.
Come on.
Danny Trejo, by the way, seems to be an actual total sweetheart.
Oh, absolutely. He's the
You're not
sweetest
explode
man.
now? Huh?
I think he might
No?
be. Is
How about you?
is this the
guy
celebrity
has
who
some
like?
serious
Yeah, he's the guy who like rescued a 5-year-old from like a car crash.
Yeah,
Um,
sounds about right.
yeah, he's just a total sweet dude, and also like the world's most terrifying badass.
I didn't realize, or at least I was not reminded that the character of Machete comes from Spy Kids.
Dude, reading that Wikipedia article was like getting slapped in the face with a wet towel. Machete is a character from the Spy Kids franchise. I was like,
What?
fucking what? Oh my god. He owns, like, brands of beer, coffee, and assorted merchandise, including, more recently, a brand of ice cream sandwiches.
definitely
And he has a
same.
shop called Trejo's Donuts, located on the northeast corner of Santa Monica Boulevard and Highland Avenue.
Beautiful.
Oh my god, who is this man?
Guide us.
Hi, Cleo. Oh, are you back? Do you want a nap? Oh, you're giving yourself a bath and you almost bit my hand. Okay, I'm gonna leave you be. Okay. Inspect item. Alright.
Danny Trejo has an Animal Crossing tour?
Symbols match
No,
the
that's
ones on the
impossible.
post.
Beautiful. Okay.
I'm
Uncle
Googling this
Tom
right
showed everyone
now.
how to get past the
We
traps.
want...
What? It's real? My world is completely turning upside down. This is impossible.
What? I read the thing.
What was that?
I exploded.
Oh, did you blow up?
Yeah.
Oh, I heard the audio through your call,
Oh.
and I just hear like, ah! And I'm like, did
Oh,
something really bad
the
just happen
thing is
outside your
inverted.
apartment?
All right, the
Oh,
thing's
God.
inverted.
Ah.
Okay, so these are good. This one's fine. Okay, then we have over there, we have the 3 crosses. So this one's fine. And that one is the ship. So those ones are bad. That
Oh my
one
god, Danny Trejo's
is the
Animal
Skull
Crossing
Boy.
avatar looks exactly how I expected it to.
Hey, we're off to a good start. Follow my lead, okay?
Just be careful.
I gotta get out of this. This is an internet rabbit hole. I'm done. I'm out.
Set off every mummy bomb in this place.
Well, no, not a lot of experience with the mummy bombs. Thank you.
That's good. And then
So far, so good.
Yeah, knock on wood.
Better not. It might be rigged.
this one's good. Wait. No, wait, come back. The bottom right from the thing, so that way is bad. Cool.
Made it.
And I only exploded once.
That's our way
Someone
out.
asked if I know or care about Ratchet and Clank. Never played it. Sorry.
Oh, God. Are those the
Oh,
Rusty
yeah, me
Two's
neither.
men?
It's a
Gotta
franchise
be.
that I know existed, but I
No,
think I
Avery
like
likes to
missed the
make an
boat on it.
example of his
Yeah,
enemies.
there's a new one for
Definitely
PS5. There are a lot of new
exploding
things for PS5, and
mummies.
it looks neat, I guess. This is never for me.
Tread
Oh,
carefully
this is a
here.
fun, dumb little quick-timey event.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
The thing that frustrates me about Ratchet and Clank, just on principle, is that I know that one of them is a robot. But
Keyhole?
both of those are names that could easily apply to robots.
I think Clank is the robot, because Ratchet's
That's
the
possible?
inventor.
Really don't have
Okay,
much of a
that would make
choice.
sense.
Yeah.
But it's annoying that I can't just tell, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I have a
It's
good
not
feeling
like
about this
Fox Dude and Clank, then I'd be able to tell instantly.
Like, to be fair, Ratchet and Clank scans fantastically. Like, it's got a nice
Oh, it
rhythm to
does.
it.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
yeah.
sure they focus grouped it to shit, but... Anyway. We're creeping up on 1,500. Alright. I'm sure we'll have
wow.
much higher numbers for Ghosts of Tsushima, and especially if the game actually plays in FPS.
Well,
we can
at least
we can do some testing.
bits.
Yeah.
Get it working
Because again,
before
when
we
we
actually
start it up,
stream.
You didn't bring a
it's
knife by any
fine.
chance,
It's only
did
like
you?
10 minutes in that
No.
it decides to be garbage.
Also, right
But that
now,
guy's got a
it's
sword.
really crisp.
Right,
so...
right now it's fine.
Here.
Oh
Help me
no!
swing this
Oh,
thing.
I just got to the part where you got stuck in a net.
Yeah.
Awkward.
Exploding mummies.
Oh boy.
Oh, come on. Let's just forget for a second this is not how momentum works.
I mean, it's a little bit how momentum. Well, I'm at the part where you're swinging back and forth, which is how momentum works.
No, but you can't just, like,
what-
start yourself like that.
You kind of can. It's how swing sets work.
No, but you have to, like, push off something first. They were just in midair.
You actually, I don't think you have to push off. I always did because it lets you get more momentum faster. But you can just start the thing moving by wiggling your body, and once it's moving, you can get it to move more.
Alright. Improving the road.
Yeah.
Come on. Get up.
I mean, this is not the kind of thing that we dealt with in math or physics classes. I'm getting the feeling that it's one of those things where The movement is deceptively simple, but the actual physics behind it is a living nightmare to calculate. But yeah, I know. Any like
Avery.
physics PhDs in the audience who can tell us
It's just
if
like
you can
old times,
actually
huh?
start swinging on a swing set without first
Lena?
going back on the ground, because I never tested it out myself.
Hey,
Oh, there's our friend the lag.
Lena, come on.
Back
Lena.
in the slideshow zone.
Welcome to the
My
slideshow.
hero.
We have fun and games.
Oh, no, you didn't do that. No. That's not funny.
Oh, you have done much worse.
I do like that Elena gets a little bit of
Goddamn heart
revenge
attack.
in this scene.
Let me
Tee
listen.
hee hee.
Sounds good to me.
You realize we're now even for everything I've ever pulled, right?
Okay, good. The chat agrees with me that you
Yeah,
can,
like
in fact,
ever.
swing like that.
Okay.
No.
Which is
Not by a
good,
long
because
shot.
I was like questioning if everything I knew about physics and gravity was a lie.
Got mud everywhere.
Anyone ever tell you you have a funny idea of romantic?
Yeah. Yeah, I may have heard that somewhere before.
Oh, these two are great.
Yeah.
Good talk.
Meanwhile, Cleo's just licking herself. Gotta stay clean.
Thank you to the multiple people in stay clean. But thank you to the multiple people in chat saying, well, I don't have a PhD in physics, but I did at one point get bored enough to test that on the swing, and it was totally doable. You're the real scientists here.
Hey, we need to recognize that there isn't so much of a disconnect between academia and practical experimentation.
In the immortal words of Mythbusters, the only difference between science and screwing around is writing it down.
Oh man, now I'm sad again.
Oh,
rest
damn
in
it,
peace,
sorry.
Grant Imahara.
Yeah. I'm something of a scientist myself.
Norman Osborn?
Well, I mean, yeah. That's. I'm just saying,
Paul.
you're fucking around on a swing set, and you're like, yeah, look at me. Take this, physicists.
Gotta rewatch old Raimi.
Dude,
wait, is
yes
there
you
anything I
do.
can-
I watched them all in one night, which is the peak way to experience those
Oh,
movies.
gosh. I unironically love Spider-Man 3, and it's the one that I remember the best because I saw it the latest.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, the thing is, I watched them after watching the Cosmonaut Variety Hour video
Looks like
about
we
it,
can get down this way.
which is basically like, all these movies are basically the same, and 3 is not that much worse. And I totally get it. Like, sometimes when you get like a trilogy, there's like a very noticeable difference in basic quality between like 1 and 2 and 3. Like, well, not to immediately dive back into Star Wars, but you know, like you look at the first trilogy and you're like, yeah, this is cool. And then you look at the prequels and you're like, oh, there's been a serious
closer to
downgrade somewhere along the line. That's interesting. And then you look at 3 and you're like, this got really corporatized, and like you can kind of feel that it's a little bit soulless now, and the story being told is not the story that would naturally flow from the situation. It's the one that they think will sell the best. I get it. Whereas with Spider-Man's 1 through 3, it's like, yeah, these movies are all kind of the same. It's just this one worked and this one tried to do too much. Like
Yeah.
with the third one, the only problem is, I think that one was the executive meddling. Like they were like, we want Venom because Venom is awesome, but we haven't actually foreshadowed it at all, and we need something else to happen while Venom is happening, so let's bring in Sandman.
Yeah.
And we're not going to do Lizard, because who cares about Lizard? And it's like, they had been setting up Lizard. Dr. Connors is in the first 2 movies.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And then
I don't
Amazing
know.
Spider-Man 1 was
Like-
like, oh, you want Lizard? And it's like, no, not like that.
No! Oh god, those movies were fun. Like, not good, but hilarious to watch.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to, like, sass you specifically, but I remember 2 very specific moments with regards to superhero movies where you got hit with something that I thought was a universally known spoiler, and it blindsided you. And
Oh,
one of
what
them...
was it?
Well, there were 2. One of them was Amazing Spider-Man 2, with
Oh.
when Gwen dies. Because you were like, oh my god, Gwen Stacy dies? And I was like, could you say that again, but like slower? And the other one was Winter Soldier, because you
Oh.
didn't know he was Bucky.
Yeah, I had
You
no
were like,
idea.
oh my
Also,
god, who
I
the
never-
hell is Bucky? Ah!
I never saw Captain America 1 before seeing Captain America 2, so I'm like, oh shit,
Oh,
who's this
the
broody
fuck is
guy
this
with
guy?
the hair?
Yeah, wow, he looks great.
And the funny thing was, like, I was watching a bunch of, like, back when ETC on Machinima was a thing, and they're like, if you know the Winter Soldier storyline, this is really going to be an interesting movie. And I'm like, I don't know the Winter Soldier storyline. Seems like fun, though.
Is it still gonna be interesting for me?
Winter's a good season. Captain
Yeah.
America is a soldier. At first I thought it was like, oh, because Captain America, like, goes to Russia, and then he becomes a soldier in winter. Boy, was I wrong.
Like what the obligatory episode where everyone's wearing like cool winter gear,
Yeah.
big fluffy coats.
Which is what they're doing with the Black Widow movie. It's like, oh yes, it's Black Widow, but
Jesus.
now she's White Widow because we need to sell more toys.
It's like I know that we killed her unceremoniously
Oh,
after giving
God.
her no character arc,
After
but
one of my green friends told me just how, like, white-focused Disney specifically is, I
yep.
cannot ever unsee it. The entirety of
Yeah.
the old '90s Spider-Man animated show was made in order to sell a toy line that they had previously designed, which is why all of the characters look the same, because they needed to match the one toy mold that they had for all of the male characters.
Oh boy, that makes a lot of sense. Actually, that reminds me. I had an interesting conversation about this recently, which is people have noticed that like recently there's been not a revival, but a lot of reboots of like 80s toy-centric shows. She-Ra, Transformers, you know, stuff like that. And I was trying to figure out why pretty much unilaterally, almost all of those reboots have been like really good and interesting and character driven and going in directions the original never did. And it was pointed out to me, I was having this conversation with my dad, and he was like, well, yeah, I mean, you know, when those shows came out when I was a kid, the shows were barely there. It was to give you ideas on how to play with the toys. And that was where it clicked. It's like all
Yeah.
these writers grew up playing with these toys,
Yeah.
telling their own stories with them. So of course when it comes out new, they're gonna be like, we're gonna do a really deep, like tragic narrative about the horrors of war for Transformers, and we're gonna let these two characters in She-Ra kiss finally, and you know, stuff like that. And it totally makes sense, whereas a lot of other reboots are like, why would you reboot this? The story was already fine. Anything you change is going to upset people. Anything you keep the same is going to make people feel like there was no point. Why would you do this? But if it's a toy-based thing, then it's
Yeah.
like, no, that totally makes sense. You had like 40 years of your childhood, or your, you know, life, not childhood. Oh, my brain's a little fuzzy today, but you know, you had a lot of time to get to know these characters and develop it in your own way. And then if you get creative control over the franchise, suddenly you get to tell your own story that's
Yeah.
maybe a little bit not as directed towards selling toys, but
Yeah.
still cool.
Yeah. Sorry, Cyan just
Yeah.
texted me to let me know that there's an article saying that in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you can take cats on you with raids. And now I am so excited for this game.
Yes!
It's like, yes, Ubisoft has an entire department dedicated to finding things that will be popular. But also, then they do shit like this, and it's like, no, they're not that bad. They're not that bad.
Yep.
That's actually part of why it's a Viking game. One of their internal departments is like, Vikings are coming on a wave of popularity, so in 5 years you can make a game about Vikings, and it'll sell great. And that's, that drives a lot of their game decisions, which, you know, it's not intrinsically terrible. It's ultimately what they do with the game, rather than, wow, now it's lagging on my screen. Jeez, Uncharted,
Wow.
tell me how you really feel.
Wow. Well, I guess that tears it. I guess now we know where the lag's coming.
Yeah.
Wait, the lag is coming from inside the house! I'm sorry. You were saying?
The lag is right behind you. But, you know, Ubisoft has a lot of problems with regards to the staleness of a lot of their games, but it's...
Oh, they're saying the game's a
yeah.
little bit loud?
Oh, it's because we were just shooting a lot of
We
people.
were in a firefight, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's probably
And I
good
had a
now.
very loud gun.
Where did Sam go?
I'm cautiously interested in Valhalla. I don't think I'm gonna end up liking it that much. I'm sure the world will be fun. I'm much more interested in the in that Gods and Monsters jazz that they did off of the Assassin's Creed Unity team. Is like, can we make a game about myths? And Ubisoft is like, yeah, sure. Because for every like cheesy, you know, cash grab of like, we just want to do something that's popular, there's another example of someone in Ubisoft who's like, I really want to make a game about this because we had this mechanic in this other game that worked really well, and I think it can carry its own game. And Ubisoft is like, yeah, do it. You know, the Odyssey team was like, we have all these myths and we think it'd make like a really good like open world adventure game. Ubisoft says, Yeah, sure. Do it.
Hold on. Is this the VR one?
No. This
the
is
one that Let's Game It Out
Gods and no. This is it's not a game that exists yet. It's
Oh, okay.
it's kind of like an ancient Greek mythological Zelda game, although apparently they've changed it substantially, so it is no longer just a Zelda up. Sorry, I just threw a grenade in the face.
Oh.
But it was not shown at Ubisoft Forward, so it's still probably going through some internal changes. But we'll see. Looks interesting. I'm down for an ancient Greek Zelda-like.
Yeah, that could be fun. Honestly, like ancient Greece as a mythosphere definitely lends itself well to open world and could be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. Part of me was like, even though I didn't like super like AC Odyssey that much, I'm like, I kind of want to go back and just like bop around in the Peloponnese and see what's going on the islands and go back to the world again, because that was the best part of the game by a landslide.
I've been trying to. I mean, we've talked about Assassin's Creed before, but I've been really baffled as to like. Before every game comes out, it's like, oh my god, this is groundbreaking, this is new, this is amazing, they're in ancient Egypt, they're finally in ancient Greece, you can play as a girl, and she can be gay, and then it's like, okay, and then the game comes out, and it's like, yep, and then after like a month, I'm just not hearing about it anymore. Like, I know it still exists, but it's, I don't know, somehow the lasting impact is always really, like, minor.
It's because there is ultimately a beautiful world, and at this point, a middling story, and not that much to do in the games themselves beyond just look at the pretty lights. Wow, that's the most violently I've died in this game in a while. Because like
also, sorry, if we're gonna be in a lot of firefights in this next section, maybe we should turn down the game audio a little bit.
Let me turn this down now. You're right.
Yeah.
Volumes, effects, guns, way down. Cut that in half.
We can take cover there.
But yeah, with Assassin's Creed, it's, you know, they go in with a vision, and recently that vision has been, you know, oh, this is your playground, it's your world, you have to make the fun for yourself. Wait, what do you mean I have to make the fun for myself? You didn't give me a lot of stuff to, wait a minute, and then it's like, oh, there's actually not a lot to do in this big, you know, open world, and it feels kind of empty. It's like, yeah, there's icon soup, but there's nothing like emergent that you really find in the world that is all that interesting beyond like, oh yeah, one time I got into a fight with like a bounty hunter, and then the bounty hunter like made the life-threatening mistake of attacking a chicken, so then this like little flock of birds started, you know, attacking him, and it's like, yeah, that's a funny anecdote, but it's not like a defining experience that would bring someone to like make a game something that really is like that matters to them as part of their identity, like I used to do with the old AC games, when it was like, oh my god, this world, this like conspiracy, all of these characters, like all of these historical strings that are being pulled on, and then, you know, Unity happened, and it was like, oh, it's kind of glitchy and a little bad, and then Syndicate was just kind of bland, and then I don't know what happened, but it feels like they're still trying, but I don't think that Assassin's Creed entirely remembers what made Assassin's Creed good in the first place, and we've talked about this on other streams, so I'll spare the rant. But it's just, like, they're still, you know, hitting all the aesthetic things of, like, what, you know, makes a historical fantasy feel cool, but it's not super Assassin's Creed-y, so, oh well.
I think there's like a weird middle ground in open world games where if it's open world but practically speaking the plot is linear, that doesn't really give you the open world experience. But if it's open world and there's no real like drive to do anything, then why would you play it? It's the equivalent of being dropped in a sandbox and it's like, make your own fun. It's like, but how? It's sand. What do I do with it? And you were talking about like a video on Minecraft you were watching earlier.
Oh yeah, from a guy called White Light.
Right. And the thing is, I've been hopping onto the channel server.
Oh, no.
Oh, shit.
No. It's just, she's lying down and reaching out her arm to pick me up, but it looked like she was sprawled out dead for a second.
Jesus. Yeah. But yeah, the thing I found in Minecraft, and again, not to loop all the way back to the beginning, but Zero Punctuation brought this up way back when it did its video on it, which is like, you need to set your own goals. But once you do, boy howdy, you can get sucked in. And every time they do like a big update, that adds more stuff, it gives you more reason to like set your own goals, more goals to do. So, you know, the update before the most recent one added in, I think that was village and pillage. So it added in villager like professions and also pillagers. So finally, there's an antagonist in the game other than zombies. And it added some new threats, and every time you add a new factor like that, it changes how you play the game. And now that villagers have all this crazy stuff, it's like there's now this. Oh no! What? No, that never happens.
Oh.
In an Uncharted game, dying? No way.
Out.
But anyway, yeah. Now it gives you this motivation to like build your own village and like cure zombie villagers and give them professions that they need and all that cool stuff. And now they just added this Nether update that just filled the Nether with crazy ass biomes and like new things and new like pigmen are now piglins, and there are non-zombified versions, and you can trade with them, and they give you all kinds of cool stuff. So that's like a thing, and now it gives you a motivation to like go to the Nether and bring gold, and be careful not to die there because you might lose all your stuff. And also they added this ore that you mine for at like the bottom level of the Nether that you can use to upgrade diamond equipment. It's like the first time they've actually made it so you can make diamond better rather than just enchanting it. And mining in the Nether is also really hazardous because there's a lot of lava down there. So it changes the way you play the game, and it changes the goals you set for yourself. And again, open world games really need to give you enough freedom to make your own goals, because in order for a sandbox game to work, you need to be able to make those goals. And if it's basically linear, or if there's nothing to do off the beaten path, then it's not fun.
On the other side of that, although there are a lot of things to do with the new Minecraft update, the player needs to have a pressure put on them by the game to go out and do that. Otherwise, it's like, oh, well, if I have to find my own fun, I'm just gonna not. So in, you know, early Minecraft, it was like, oh, night is scary, that's when monsters show up. And the pressure of dangerous forces come out at night was enough to push the player towards going out to mine to get the things that will help them survive. Whereas, you know, after a couple nights, I feel like, you know, once you get iron, you know, diamond's the goal, but there's nothing in the overworld that is that threatening that you really need to go out of your way to soup up your base beyond, like, you know, a moat or two. And that was the thing that the guy White Light was talking about, was like, sure, you know, it's still cool, it's still fun to it's still fun to go out and explore, but when the overworld mobs are not threatening at all, what am I upgrading for? What am I trying to fight? And it's obviously, you know, there are end cities and other challenges that you find, but if the overworld itself doesn't have a lever that's pushing on the player to go and do more, then most players won't, which is unfortunate. So it's double-edged sword. You need to give them options and push them toward those options. So.
Yep. I did want to say, I had an interesting experience in a Minecraft survival world once, a few updates back, where I spawned in one of those like mesa biomes, and I nearly starved because there's like no plants, there were no trees, I couldn't like make any tools, I could barely, eventually I got the equipment to make a fishing rod, but it was just like, I was trying to make a boat so I could cross the ocean, because now there's like ocean zombies and you can't just pick a direction and swim. But you know, that it's interesting. It's kind of the same approach I take to Skyrim, where it's like I couldn't care less what the plot is. I'm here to pick a direction and go, and then whatever fun stories I get out of that and recount later, that's the point for me. But that was definitely an interesting one, because I was like, I'm gonna straight up starve to death because there's nothing in this mesa biome except clay and sticks. What do I do?
Yeah, and that's the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivations, which is something that he talks about a lot. Sorry, I've been watching a lot of White Light recently. YouTube gave me the recommendation. Now it's like, okay, well, I'm watching all of his stuff. You know, there's a difference between what the player gives goals for themselves and what the game itself gives goals. And you have to have those two working together for, like, the ideal scenario of whether it's you know, a campaign or a progression system. You have to have the player to want to be, you know, doing those things, and you have to have the game pushing the player towards that stuff naturally.
Open world is a bit of a double-edged sword. When it's pulled off really well. And one of the things I like about Breath of the Wild is that, you know, it's open world, but it gives you a goal. And it's like, listen, however you want to accomplish it, you do you. But we recommend that maybe you try doing these dungeons. However you do those dungeons is up to you.
Yeah, but then also it's because every single thing that you do makes you stronger through either stamina or health upgrades. So every little bit of exploration that you do directly rewards your ability to either, you know, go out and fight Ganon or just explore more of the world, more complex and dangerous ways. So.
Yep. And you just cannot, like... Oh man. Oh no, I had a point and I just lost it. Ah! Quick, cover for me. I'll rack my brain.
Sully's back. That's fun. It's always great to see when characters pop out of the absolute nether to help you with you know, stuff like RPGs. And it's been too long in the game without Sully, so it's good that he's back.
Better in my head.
Ow. But yeah, I remember my point. Breath of the Wild will sometimes suck you into like side quest hell, where it's like, I need to get this lady to like me, and I need her to give me her thunder helm, but she doesn't trust me unless I do a bunch of side quests for the people who live in her town. But I can run around her town as much as I want and find people with interesting quests and then do them for them.
Yeah.
And some of those quests are like, beat up this monster, and you can beat out that monster however you want. And it's interesting because, you know, earlier Zelda games were like, welcome to the dungeon boss. You have to beat it with the thing you picked up in this dungeon.
Yeah.
Have fun.
You saved his ass
So,
again?
just actually giving it like, yeah, you can do some crazy shit. You can like stasis freeze this rock and then hit it really hard, and then when it unfreezes, it'll launch itself at Mach 7 at the bad guy, destroying it instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing
So,
is
you
how
know,
many
there's
ways
a creativity there.
Yeah, how many ways does the player have to interact with the world? Because Breath of the Wild without stasis, magnesis, and
My face.
to a lesser extent cryonis would be a far inferior experience to like it's Breath of the Wild, except there are no stasis and cryonis puzzles, because that game breaking ability to freeze random shit in midair and launch metal, you know, into infinity by like giving it a yank with your magnet gives you so many options for tackling the game in ways which the developers did and sometimes didn't intend. So having a toolbox at your disposal is what makes the ability to explore the world either interesting or kind of dumb. So like with traversal, you can walk, you can ride your horse, you can glide, or you can shield surf, and each of those 4 ways of traversals gives you very different options. Oh, you can climb too.
Yeah, climbing is really busted.
Yeah, if you took out like any 2 of them, it would be a lot more of a pain in the ass to try and get around the world of Zelda, and you'd rely on fast travel way more. Which, don't get me started on fast travel. Hate that shit. But you have to have variability in your game to be able to do things, and that's one of the things that I feel like Assassin's Creed recently has been failing at, where they give you a lot of tools that all are kind of ways to accomplish the same thing, which is, oh, you can kill this person in 7 different ways. That's not practically different between what animation is playing. It's not like, oh, you know, you can have your boat, you can have your horse, you can climb. Like, those are the cool things of, like, how to do interesting and different traversal, but there's no longer any social stealth, really, although Valhalla is bringing that back, which is really cool.
Hopefully that works.
But the ways to navigate a city are far more narrow when you don't have the pressure of like, oh, if you're in a place you're not supposed to be, guards are going to be mad at you. If you run along the rooftops too much, like guards are going to yell at you. If you know. If you want to pick up a gondola and go do your stuff and go, you know, take the canals instead of running along the rooftops, that's your MO. So having more ways to go about something is what matters more than like, oh, a lethal and a non-lethal option, because that's really ultimately just surface deep. It's the animation that plays and maybe a morality system if your game is from like 2010. But you have to have practical versatility that really lets the player make choices beyond just surface level aesthetics. So
Yep. One other thing that I think Breath of the Wild did that was interesting is because of the way the environmental stuff affects the way the game is played. I saw some people complaining about this, but I kind of liked it, that like when it's raining, you can't really climb, and if you need to do one of those fire puzzles, good luck.
That's awesome.
And then
I love that.
whenever yeah, and it's because here's the thing, if the game were like, you have a hunger meter, and when you get hungry, you need to stop and eat, that would annoy people. It would be like, why are you stopping me from playing the dang game? And I saw some people kind of get frustrated with the weapon durability mechanic for that reason, because it's like, ugh, why are you stopping me from playing the game? But then again, it's like, the game encourages you to take breaks because, like, if it's raining, you can't really make that much progress. You probably want to find shelter, maybe cook up some food, make a fire under a place where it will not get rained on, and that's cool. The game organically encourages you to do regular survival-y camping things. Like, you can just, pick up the nearest stick and then just charge crotch first into danger and try and fight Ganon with it.
Yeah.
But the game encourages you to do other things. It will not stop you, you just won't have much luck.
Yeah.
And just, the things that make you succeed are also the things that make you feel more immersed in the world. Like, I'm struggling to climb this slick surface, and I'm cold, and that's bad, and I might die, so I'm gonna get some nice warm clothing for this environment, and make a fire, and hide in this cave, and, it doesn't punish you for... It doesn't feel like the game is punishing you for not doing those things. It feels like the game is encouraging you to do those things,
Yes.
and those are two different things.
Yeah. The one thing I will say on weapon durability is the reason that I personally have a problem with it is not inherently the concept of, like, weapon durability. Like, I think it's fine that weapons break. That's a choice that they made to show that nothing is precious and you have to use what you have. It's a very survivalist attitude. That's great. But I wish that Link didn't have, like, 20 swords stuffed up his ass at any given time that he's switching between. Because having to play, menu swapping when you're in the middle of a fight is not good gameplay. That takes you out of the moment, and it makes me think like, what I hated about Skyrim was like, yes, I'm fighting a dragon. I need to put on my spellcasting pants. Excuse me, sir, while I go, bum-ass naked for 20 seconds to go put on the right set of clothes so I can cast spells with 20% more damage at you. It's annoying to mess with menus when you're supposed to be in the middle of a fight. So I love the idea of, like, there's food, there's weapon durability, there's, like, clothing stuff and things that you have to manage as a survivor, but I wish that it was more like there are small little passive upgrades that you just find in the world. Like in Link's Awakening, which I played on the Switch, the new remastered version, there's no, like, weapons, you just have your one sword, you don't find stuff in the world, but sometimes an enemy will drop a little power-up that gives you double damage for 20 seconds, or you only take half damage for 20 seconds, and those things I think are more interesting because it encourages you to play aggressively and use those bonuses that you have for, 20 seconds or 30 seconds or however long, and it doesn't mean that, you're carrying 30 swords in your back pocket at any given time. So I wish that whatever system they put in for Breath of the Wild 2 isn't carrying around a bunch of different weapons, but finds a different way to encourage you to mix things up, like how the Master Sword breaks, but it comes back. So I don't always feel like I'm picking up a gazillion weapons and throwing them out, but instead actually, like, using tools to on a more consistent basis. So I get it. It's there for a reason, but I find the weapon durability is just a little much.
Yeah, I was actually going to say, while the weapon durability is annoying, I think it does a very good job of encouraging you to get the dang Master Sword.
Yeah.
Because, open world game, it's not going to force you, and in fact, it actively dissuades you from getting it for a while, because it drains your hearts to get it, which is pretty cool. But once you have it, you don't need to worry about, like, scrounging for weaponry anymore. The Master Sword will run out of stuff, but even that is, like, diegetically explained. It's a magic sword. It's been stuck in a rock for 100 years.
Yeah.
It needs a little solar power. And I think that because I'm not saying that the mechanic couldn't have been adjusted, but I think because it was frustrating, I was just saying the game doesn't punish you for not having this thing, and it doesn't punish you for not having the Master Sword. But man, when you have the Master Sword, you feel so much better about these fights.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a very valuable. Yeah, it's a very valuable factor that. If the game didn't have the Master Sword, then I think the weapon durability would be unforgivably annoying.
Yeah.
But because it's all trying to get you to that point.
What I'd love to see instead, and this is just me spitballing, is like instead of you pick up weapons and toss them out every 2.4 seconds, you can do that, but there are some weapons that stick with you more. So like your base sword is like the sword that you have. It functions like the Master Sword, but instead of like, oh, it needs to recharge, it's like, no, your sword is dull. Take it to a blacksmith, go resharpen it, and that has a material cost. So you can either choose to re-up the same weapons that you have, or you can use little one-off weapons if you're in a pinch. I think a system that keeps you somewhat tied to a set of tools, but requires some upkeep, fulfills a similar point, but isn't quite as annoying as like, it's the 50th Great Flame Blade in my arsenal. Cool.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know. Something
definitely.
like that,
No
I think,
controls,
could
but
work.
I bet I
So,
could pull the
whatever.
platform with my rope.
Yeah, I think
do
that
this.
the best case scenario would be a game that minimizes the amount of inventory management.
Yes.
But you know, it wasn't like deal breaking for me. I thought it was fine. But
I just don't
When
like
Breath of the
inventory
Wild 2 rolls
management. That's
around.
not what I'm about.
yeah, the cool thing I'm hoping for is that when Breath of the Wild 2 rolls around, you start with the Master Sword. So it should definitely reduce a lot of the frustration.
Unless you're playing as Zelda, which may be what's happening.
Well, that'll be interesting too. I mean, they did a pretty good job of not really nerfing Link all that much. I mean, he doesn't have his memory, but since when does that matter to him? But since Zelda does kind of have like super goddess magic, but she can't really use it on command, it might end up being one of those. During normal gameplay, you can only use your basic level stuff, and then in a cutscene, you can do this cool thing.
Yeah.
Which would be upsetting, and I wouldn't like that. So I don't really know how they're going to handle it.
Nathan, give me a hand.
Lots of possibilities.
Where's Sam?
I am excited, though.
I'm very excited.
Okay.
Yes, here we go. I don't think we're going to get Breath of the Wild 2 this year. We have a bunch of Mario stuff that's apparently on the way.
And like all the other stuff happening, but yeah.
Yeah. Game of the Year 2020 is going to be a contended, a contended contest, but I feel like 2021 is going to be a bit of a drought. Based on
wouldn't
what
surprise me.
we've been hearing is like, 2020, all the games that are coming out for 2020 are in the polishing stages, but if a game is like midway through production, that game's not going to finish up in 2021. So keep that on ice for a year. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah.
You guys all right?
Here we go.
Anyway.
I think we may be getting to a logical stopping
so-
point here as we're approaching our 2-hour mark.
Oh, we're creeping up. We've got about 15 minutes left. What exactly is happening in the game, by the way? I feel like I zoned out for like 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah, no, that's okay. What's happening in the game is, do I have to jump and grab Sam's hand? Oh, gosh. Cleo's napping so cute. What's happening in the game is we are basically working our way out of Libertalia because we've assembled the team. We're all here. We just need to get over to Sully's plane and get the hell out.
I wonder if the plan's gonna go according to plan.
Oh. No? Why do you say that? There's not 2 more chapters left in this game.
Come on.
Yeah, that would be ridiculous.
Come on, just jump. I'll catch you. Let's go.
Well, if Tsushima is a little bit delayed, it wouldn't be too bad to,
no,
basically
don't
just
you
wrap
even
this
think
up on
about it,
stream.
You hear me? I'm sorry I got you into this. All of you. Hey, all that doesn't matter anymore, okay? Just jump. I gotta see this thing through,
Those.
Nathan. Sam, hey, listen to me. If you do this, I'm not coming after you. You hear me?
Like, vaguely hearing the slightly fuzzy sound
Sorry.
through your
Sam.
mic is, a bit surreal. It doesn't quite line up with what's going on over here.
Oh.
Called your bluff.
Okay, well, I just saw Sam gently jog off screen. I'm guessing he's been seduced by the gold.
Yeah, so
Or
that
something.
Angry Mountain.
Yeah, there it is.
Yep, there we go. So Angry Mountain is calling to Sam, so he's going in there, which we're so close now. Look at how far away this mountain's been this whole time. Gosh, it even has an eye. So
God.
we're almost ready to go, and then Sam's like, sorry, I got to get that treasure, and Drake's like, ah,
You
Sam.
dumb bastard.
Worry about the saving part first.
Yeah.
What the hell is he thinking?
Well, that's gonna be fun to deal with.
Wasn't this enough?
Yeah, I don't think
know-
we're going to be able to finish this on this stream. That's okay.
Probably not. So we still thinking maybe Thursday?
Probably.
Get the rest out?
Yeah.
Get over
Or
that
not the
wall
rest,
with this.
but yeah.
Yeah.
I think, oh god. You know, if there's one thing where I think this game struggles a little bit, but honestly, I think in a way that really works, it's getting us to put up with Sam's nonsense. Because our reaction is kind of the same as Nathan's, which is
Yeah.
like, God damn it. You asshole, I wish I could just leave, but I can't. And
Yeah.
for Nathan, it's because you're my brother and I love you. And for us, it's like, because it's the plot of the game and we have to play it. So, you know, different source for the emotion, but same emotion.
And it's interesting that you know, he makes the choice he makes, because from Nate's perspective, he's been on 3 separate treasure hunts before this, so he doesn't need this. It's not about his ego, but this is the, you know, the thing that Sam was in prison for years for. Like, this is his, like, mom's treasure hunt that he needs to finish for, like, his identity to be a thing. So Sam can't let this go in the way that Drake has long since let go. And you saw earlier in the last part where they're on the boat on their way to the island, and Drake's like, God damn it, Sam, I can't believe I'm doing this. Because it was fun, and then as soon as Drake faced the consequences of Elena being like, hey, fucko, where have you been? How's Malaysia? This stopped being fun for Drake. And it's all about Sam's wanting to finish this thing for his own, like, personal validation, and Drake absolutely doesn't need it.
Take turns.
So...
Don't even.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is that Nathan. Sometimes people are like, "Oh yeah, well Nathan used to be just like this," but from what I've seen of Uncharted 1, he was like way more reluctant about the treasure hunt in that game. He was like, "No, this is stupid. I don't want to do this. God, there's zombies. I hate this. This is the worst. Let's go. I hate this." And I was like, "Yeah, this is a mood. This is super relatable. This is Nathan Drake, the everyman." I think it's in the second game where they really start, like, he's being sucked back in, and it's like, well, he was never in exactly. He was just doing this because, you know, he had this sense of obligation. But in the second one, it's like, what's up? Nathan Drake is bleeding out in a train car hanging over the edge of a cliff. I wonder how we got here. And it's like, yeah, me too. What the fuck? It's just kind of funny that he's kind of gone full circle and he's back to like, no, this sucks. This is stupid. Everyone killed each other. I hate it. Let's go. I hate this. But also maybe a little bit of the excitement. I don't know. It's fun.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like Drake was always in it for the history more than the treasure, whereas Sam is unambiguously in it for the treasure. Drake just wanted to see Libertalia. He was in it for the characters and the drama of it, where Sam, like, he needs to have one in order for it to be, you know, a worthwhile experience, whereas, you know, Drake's just kind of happy to go along.
Okay, but real talk, Nathan Drake would be the ultimate, like, Instagram celebrity.
Oh my god. That, well...
Selfie in Libertalia! Yeah. Like, wonder what this guy's been up to, and it's a selfie with one of the exploding mummies.
Yeah.
Like, can somebody say moisturizer?
Oh my gosh. Drake just
he would have the
his
craziest
way
following.
through an ancient city.
So, here we are. Can you believe it? Nobody's been in this city for hundreds of years, and then a mercenary's like, there he is! And he's like, oh shit, I gotta go.
What's up, treasure hunters? It's your boy, Nathan Drake, back at it again with...
Oh, God.
No, that would be if he was an asshole. Worse than normal.
That would be if Sam was doing... That would make this game so much more insufferable if Sam can't put his fucking phone away.
Oh my god.
Like, no, hold on. Drake bro, selfie! And Nate's like, no, dude.
The saving grace
We're breaking
is that...
so many international laws.
The saving grace is that Sam was in jail throughout the entirety of the 2010s tech boom.
Oh, you're right. I feel like when they get back, Elena's gonna be like, oh yeah, it's this new app called Instagram. And Sam will be like, Instagram? And then it'll be like, Uncharted 5 coming this summer.
Yeah.
Sam can't get off the Twitter.
Remember that one period in movies where everyone had a phone, but no one had a smartphone? Fuck.
Yeah, I'm kind of... It's been really interesting watching that shift now, because, like, I was watching a new cartoon, The Owl House, and the main character has a smartphone. She uses it as a flashlight at one point, and I was like, yeah, that's what I needed. Wow. It's amazing how weird it felt to not have this before. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, like, movies from, like, the late 2000s, early 2010s are a wild ride, because cell phones have become ubiquitous. Mm-hmm. But, like... It's fucking like the LG chocolate and the Motorola Razr and stuff like that.
Someone's got a BlackBerry and then a second BlackBerry, and it's just like, okay. Yeah, I'm glad to see smartphones become more ubiquitous, and like people text each other instead of calling. That's something that I think is really helping to ground these movies into the modern day, because it's like, who the fuck texts anymore? What are you doing? Or sorry, calls. Everyone texts. Who calls?
Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah. Hello chat. The Owl House is indeed super good. It's in this like new category of cartoon I've been noticing where like the writing is quite simple, and it is definitely aimed at kids for that reason. Like there's like a maximum of one plot twist per episode, but it's really well executed, and the art style is very pretty. It kind of feels like a bit of a spiritual successor to Gravity Falls. It's got that same, like, this is a fun, kid-friendly romp, except for all this really dark stuff that they're hinting at in the background, or the foreground, as the case may be.
Yeah.
And also, Alex Hirsch is, like, on the team, although I don't know if he's actually, I don't think he's doing any writing for it. He's just, like, doing a couple voices, and I think he's probably, like, friends with the director or something. But yeah, if you haven't checked it out, I actually would recommend. It's quite sweet and funny, and I really hope it lives up to its dark future, like it's been hinting. Yep.
All right. Actually, we might actually getting pretty close to the end of the game.
Oh shit, for real?
Yeah, it's either like we call it now, or there's probably like 45 minutes of game left. So honestly, I'd probably be happy to call it.
Oh, there you are.
Okay.
Because we could keep going, but I don't know how you're feeling about keeping up with this right now.
I mean, honestly, I'm cozy. I've got my tea. I've got my setup. So if you wanted to keep streaming, I'd be down.
Okay. Well, I would need to take a restroom break.
I mean, you're the one playing. Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll entertain the chat.
So
while that happens.
after this 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 gameplay section that I've been forced into. Wait. Okay, Red. You're in charge for the next 2 minutes.
Oh dang. Okay. What's up, gamers? How's everybody doing? I feel like we've just been talking over the game, but I haven't really had time to give you guys the attention you deserve. So let me just check the chat real quick, which is 30 seconds left. Oh, it looks like you guys are still arguing over whether to take a break or keep going. Sorry, it looks like that decision has been made. Oh man. Well, I mean, heck, while I'm not boring Blue with this, let me tell you some more things I liked about the Owl House, which, it's like a Disney cartoon, so I think it's probably on Disney, the Disney Plus or whatever. It's really fun. It's got kind of this fairly standard tropey setup of, you know, kid goes to magical otherworld and finds cool mentor there and wants to, like, spend time in this magical otherworld, but also this magical otherworld is basically straight up hell. And she's learning how to be a witch. So, you know, it's a little bit dark. Alex Hirsch plays a few characters, but the main one he plays is this adorable little hellhound thing called King, short for King of Demons. And he's doing almost exactly his Bill Cipher voice, so it's just great. It's really fun. And there's definitely, like, it's fun and cute and mostly kid-friendly, but there's definitely some pretty spooky undertones. Like, one of the characters has this weird curse, and there's this sort of sneaky mystery going on over who cursed her in the first place and what's going on. But yeah, like, there's only 12 episodes so far, but it is pretty fun, and I would recommend it if you've been missing Gravity Falls and that general vibe of, like, this is cute and for kids, but also I really like this creeping dread as well. So yeah, let's see what else is going on. Chat. Yeah, Burger Queen, but that doesn't make him any less of a king. Or a queen, you know, it's totally up to him. Let's see. Drake
All right,
is just hanging.
I'm back.
I didn't even notice that.
And Cleo
hello,
has
welcome
been
back.
fed. What did I miss?
Bueno. I was just explaining why the Owl House is good. Because I was
okay.
like, shit, what do I talk about? It was either that or just start reading Shakespeare, and that takes a while to search.
Yeah. Don't you just have a pocket
and
Shakespeare
Infinity Train,
speech
Infinity
memorized?
Train. Oh man, I wish. Actually, I do. I memorized the dagger speech a while ago.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
But that was not the time for that. Anyway, yes, Infinity Train, also quite good. Infinity Train, I wouldn't actually quite put in the same category because Infinity Train is cute and kid-friendly, but the writing is not simple, if that makes sense. Like, sometimes you look at a show and you're like, okay, this is aimed at a kid who does not have, like, 20 years of trope experience to predict the twist, and then the twist on the twist, and then the secret betrayal, and then this guy's a villain, all, you know, like, that's the kind of stuff that only works on, like, people who know enough about narrative storytelling to have preconceptions. But there's a kind of writing that's essentially, like, one layer deep, that gives you an expectation and then maybe subverts it, like, on one level. And that's what I'm kind of categorizing as, like, this is fun and it's for kids. It's for people who aren't so jaded and haven't absorbed, like, the entirety of TV tropes.
Yeah.
That they're like, oh, I'm gonna trust this show to deliver on what it promises to me, and if it surprises me once, I'll be like, oh, cool, a surprise.
Yeah.
Whereas Infinity Train is not in that category. Infinity Train is all like existential horror and just like crazy. Yeah, no, it's not for kids, especially season 2. But would also highly recommend that one because, boy, if you love the existential terror of being transported to a magical otherworld and not being sure of how to get back, you are gonna love the Infinity Train.
Fun.
You guys, of course I've already watched She-Ra. I've watched it like multiple times. I also super recommend that. I thought that went without saying at this point.
Red was texting me about She-Ra often. Oh, hey, look at that. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot quite how close we actually were to the end of the game. We're not quite there, but we're like...
Hell yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, and Kipo. Kipo is another cartoon. It's actually the first one I kind of put in that category where it's like, this is simple writing, but it's very fun and very cute, and the animation is really crisp. So like, it's it's interesting categorizing cartoons as for kids and not for kids,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. But yeah, Kipo is really cute. And it's another, like, this is really fun and charming, and it's a post-apocalyptic hellscape with mutant animals running rampant, but it's, like, so colorful and shiny, and the soundtrack is really good, so you almost don't mind.
This is,
I saw people comparing it to Avatar.
Oh, interesting.
Sorry, go ahead.
Real quick, this is the last jump in Uncharted 4, and the developer, I don't know, was it Neil Druckmann? I don't know if Neil was working on Uncharted 4, if he was on The Last of Us the whole time, but he said they purposefully made this jump look a little longer than... Cleo, stop scratching the couch. Cleo, cut that out. Yeah, there we go. They purposefully made it look like you couldn't quite make it, but of course in the end, you do! But it's like the last jump of Drake's career in this game, and it's a big jump.
That's fun. I like that.
Yeah.
I guess this is my way down.
Yeah, guys, Kipo is a post-apocalyptic wasteland. That's why there's mutant animals and ruins everywhere. Anyway.
Whoops. Maybe there was one more jump.
Well, okay.
I guess this is my way down.
Oh, one other thing that I wanted to talk about, but I haven't managed to bring yet, is all this business with Hagia Sophia over in Turkey right now.
Oh, God.
Which, oh man, if you saw my tweets, you know how I feel about it, but those of you who don't know, Hagia Sophia, ancient Greek basilica made during the Byzantine period by Emperor Justinian after a sports competition got wildly out of hand and turned into 5 days of anti-imperial riots against the emperor. Whoops. Built this big old church. 1453, Ottomans took it. As is their right as conquerors, that's how the medieval world works, and turned it into a mosque. 1935, Republic of Turkey, a secular state, which is sometimes forgotten, converted it into a museum. And just last week, Tayyip, our boy, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, president of Turkey, who really, really wants to be a sultan. Oh man, he wants nothing more than to just be a sultan. Turned it back into a mosque, which is something that he has wanted to do for years. And he finally did it using COVID as the backdrop so that he could use this as a distraction from the fact that his economy is collapsing. So, basically this whole thing is a ploy. And ultimately will not last very long. Because the next president of Turkey, whoever it is, Tayyip, will not stay in office, nor will he live forever. We are all mortals. The next president of Turkey will score the easiest diplomatic points of any world leader in history by turning it back into a museum. Everyone's going to be like, awesome. Like, when Greece and Russia and the Pope all agree that you made a bad move, like, oh boy. So it's going to be, you know, a museum. Again, this is not a permanent fixture. It is just to placate his very nationalist base and give himself a win to feel all big and strong. And it will end up being a museum again. But since the Cultural Ministry of Turkey is clearly taking requests, I have an idea for it. Because even though it is currently a mosque, eventually it surely will not be. what I think would be really cool is to not just make it a blank museum with no religious affiliation one way or the other. I think it would be really neat to celebrate, yes, please give me a hint, dear God. Oh, Underwater Passage. To celebrate the fact that it has belonged to both the Ottoman, Muslim faith and the Byzantine Christian Eastern Orthodox faith. So what I think would be neat is that 360 days out of the year, it's a museum. But on special holy days in the Christian and, Muslim faiths, so like beginning and end of Ramadan, Easter, Christmas, yada, 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 celebrate services there so that people who are part of the religion and feel a strong cultural connection to Hagia Sophia, whether they're Greek or Turkish or whatever, can use this amazing space as a place to celebrate their faith. And the other 99% of the time it's a museum, but for specific circumstances it can be used for worship. And I think that'd be a really cool way to actually bridge the gaps and let everybody participate. And not just make it like, oh, this is our box and no one else can use it for worship, or this is, no one's thing and it's only a museum. It's like, I think it should be a museum, but that has like a calendar that allows for multiple people to participate. Put a chapel in one corner for, some Eastern Orthodox Christian who wants to come and pray. Put, a small little mosque, whatever the equivalent of a side chapel is for, a Muslim coming to Hagia Sophia that wants to go there and like pray in there. So I think making it a combined space would be the coolest thing that would reflect and honor its legacy as such an international transcultural thing. The Byzantines built it, the Ottomans took it, they kept it up, which I feel like we don't give them enough credit for. And then they made the entirety of like Ottoman architecture just Hagia Sophia's everywhere, which like, yes, awesome, thank you. But I feel like finding a way to combine them in a productive way and let everybody participate so, Muslims can celebrate and worship in their, Christians can do the same thing. I think that would be cool as hell. So I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Oh, someone says that Indonesia does that. That's neat.
Yeah, chat overall seems to think that's a really good idea, but they're also gushing over Laura Bailey.
Yeah, no, fair enough. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
My 2 cents.
Tayyip wants to feel big and strong, but I feel like this is it's not gonna last. It's not gonna last.
The funny thing is, I'm still on a delay, so I just saw him slap her and her kind of go through the 5 stages of rage, and then just immediately throw him down and point a gun at his head, and I was like, yes, my queen. So, good stuff.
Or we can just
yes, everyone says it's a great idea. Yes, make me feel smart.
Yeah. It's like, dear Turkish government, I would like to propose my thing. So
I'd like to propose that you listen to me instead of your president.
Yeah, come on, guys. I'm qualified. I know history and stuff. Unlike you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Good stuff.
It's like when you get Russia, Greece, and the Pope to agree on something, you've fucked it, buddy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a bad sign.
Yeah. Someone says blue big brain.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It took me a second to parse that message. So someone in the chat asked my thoughts on the webcomic Kill 6 Billion Demons. But they abbreviated it to K6BD, and I was like, what? Is that like a government agency? But I got it. It's really interesting. The art is amazing. And it's definitely one of those worlds where the writer has been like building out this whole like theology system and just world setup for ages and ages. So it's really well thought out, and there's all kinds of lore, and it's kind of got this mystical feel to it almost. It's one of those comics that has alt text, but sometimes the alt text will like mention like this maneuver was legendary and was never replicated successfully, like while you're watching 2 people fight in real time, and it's like, oh, it really makes this feel like timeless and historical. But also the main character is like a hapless every girl transported into this crazy demon world through like magical chosen one shenanigans, and she is the most realistic freaked out teenage girl I've ever seen. Like, up to and including cussing constantly, freaking out, crying, having body image issues on the side. It's just like really, really, it's a lot. It's almost emotionally draining to read sometimes because it is so much, but there's a lot of really interesting stuff. That, it's got some of the most interesting angel lore I've ever seen. They are angels, like divine servants, and they have these physical bodies, but they also have like a spiritual form that's their true form. And one of the angels running around, her spiritual form is like very clearly female, but all the angels are like male. It's the rule. So there's this whole thing about like her identity, and one of the other angels figured out what her deal was and has started calling her sister and like supporting her, and it's just, there's a lot going on. There is so much. But I do recommend looking it up, just if nothing else for the art, which is truly spectacular. And the plot, which is also pretty cool. And there's this other really fun, sassy demon lady, who's like the severely downgraded form of some horrifying demon queen she used to be, and now she's chilled out a lot more and just likes writing fanfic about people, so it's just really fun. There's a lot. It's a lot.
Hey, Nate.
Anyway,
Where's Sam?
Oh, he's right there.
Sam?
Relax, he's alive. This
oh
idiot
wow,
nearly
we are
got us all
straight up in the
killed.
finale.
Yep.
I'm getting him out of here.
That's what I was like, oh,
So
we
I
got some
kinda
time, and then
zoned
I
out for
saw
that
like
comic.
this one shot of the empty bay. I'm like, oh no, we're here. We're here.
Yeah. So I kind of zoned out. What happened to Nadine? Is she all right?
Oh, she's like, fuck you,
Oh,
I'm
no.
leaving, and then she left.
But no,
We stay
Oh
here.
hell yeah, that's my
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah, no, Nadine rules.
that's not what I said.
Yeah.
Which is what allows her to do a
think,
heel
Nadine?
face turn to be like one of the two protagonists of
Good to see you
Uncharted
up
Lost
and about.
Legacy. Oh no, never mind, she's right here.
Be a dear and we leave Nate
Oh,
there
just
at
kidding.
the gun.
Okay.
Hand it over.
You really think you can trust him?
Not your concern.
Now, why are you trying to instigate? Nate? Nadine and I are partners.
She's like, I considered
don't
fucking
screw
off, but
over
then I was
my
like, no, I
partners.
really want you dead, asshole, for slapping me, and also all the other shit.
You and your brother, though.
I
Right
am like
from the
30
start,
seconds
you took
behind though, so I'm
advantage of
still
my
seeing them all
generosity.
pointing guns at each other and
You tried to
talking.
cut me out, and it's high time you learn.
Oh,
Here
people
we
in the
go.
chat who missed the title, it's
What are you doing?
Kill 6 Billion
Now you
Demons.
give me your gun.
Nadine?
I won't ask you
And
again.
I realize that people might be having trouble naming that in the chat because it might be being censored.
Oh.
You are being
Yeah.
profoundly stupid right now.
Look over there.
Nadine, stop screwing around.
So I get the
Jesus!
feeling that this
I
scene
said
is when all the themes of the
Okay,
game
it's a
like
couple of
come full circle.
skeletons.
You
And
bet.
it's all
So what?
Yeah, heck yeah.
I don't know
It's
as
all
much
about the
history as
greed
you
and the
boys.
gold.
Yeah,
and
this is
greed
where
and the
Nadine
gold.
is
No
like,
idea who those two are.
she understands what's going on, so as she'll
Avery, too.
say in a second, look
killed
at those
each other.
boys over there. Found your
What's the
pirates.
Everyone obsessed with this treasure gets what they deserve.
Yeah. So Nadine's like, fuck this shit,
Leaving us
I'm
here to
out.
die?
I'm just leaving.
It's like I can see
Will
you've
you
got
die or
some
not? I
weird
don't
like
care.
vendetta thing
Nadine?
going on in here.
Wait.
I'm outie.
So
I'm
long,
just gonna go
Lex.
take my leave. Go back to running a very successful mercenary company.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nadine's like, I am out of here. I have seen what you people
She's
do
gone.
about this treasure. I am
Come on, give me
not
a hand,
for
we'll
it.
all get out of here.
Yeah.
I have so many insurance payouts to make for my dead mooks.
Gotta send a bunch of gift
Help me,
baskets
Sam,
to their
and I'll help you
families.
open the door.
I do like that she's very,
I'm not
very
gonna be
practical.
able to
Like,
enjoy
of the
Yeah.
entire cast, she's
of
the one
these
who's like,
coins.
nope, fuck this. She got into the room with all the
Knowing that
gold and she
you
was
and
like,
your
no,
worthless brother are
not
still
worth it.
somewhere.
I get paid in normal paychecks like sane people do.
Yeah.
Just calm down. You can practice your
I have
fence.
enough
Also, like
trouble
when
running
she-
this illegal
Nate,
mercenary
just-
company.
I
You
like
think I
when
want
she's
to...
like, I don't know as much about history as you boys. Basically saying like, you
This is
dumb
insane, even for
idiots.
you.
You boys have fun with this burning ship full of pirate treasure.
Oh, nothing better than introducing mechanics at the very end of a game. That's the thing that everyone loves.
Ah, so fun.
One thing that I read was that they had plans to introduce the sword fighting earlier in the game as like you and Sam playing around, so that way you had a tutorial for it, but then they ended up cutting it for time.
Is a legend.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
dodge left, dodge right. It's not very easy to telegraph which way he's
I
coming
shot the
from.
man who told me that.
Look, I
Oh
get it.
god,
You
I'm
don't
getting
like me very
flashbacks
much.
to fucking
You know, for all your
Skyward
greatness,
Sword.
Nate,
Ugh.
you have nothing.
where the way to beat Girahim was to flail wildly.
And I warned you.
Because every other enemy would like parry you directionally, but he was like sneaky about it. He would parry faster, which actually meant that just jumping up and down, flailing the Wiimote, actually got past his defenses shockingly quickly when it didn't work on any of the Mook enemies. He'd be like, oh, this skill, how is this power possible? And meanwhile, I'm just like, ah! Wiggle, wiggle. So.
Find Avery, and I'm not gonna let a couple of two-bit thieves, a senile con man, and a washed-up journalist take that away from me.
It is kind of always fun where you have a villain who for the entire story is really driven and like has a very specific motivation, but then by the end they just hate you so much that they don't even really care about that. They just want to kick your ass.
Yeah. I mean, that's
It's
the
the
thing
Disney
is-
villain syndrome.
Yeah. Rafe has always defined himself by the, wait, hold on, I need to not die in this fight. Rafe sucks in a very specific way. That is clearly identified through, like, he's this, like, pretty boy, like, privileged to shit. He's had everything handed to him. And the second somebody stops him from it, he is just so mad about it. And just wants nothing more than you to die, even at considerable expense to himself.
Yep, he's having his classic third act breakdown.
Yeah.
He's defined himself by something very specific, and you're denying him that, and he just can't handle it. He's never been denied in his life. You can just tell. He was definitely like the rich kid who would crash his dad's Maserati, and then he'd buy him a new Maserati so he wouldn't crash the old one again.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. I'm just hearing like vague ah ooh ah from the background.
Owie, oof, ow, my bones.
Ah ooh ah, my infinite power.
Yeah, Rafe is very well established. Even though he isn't quite as present in the story compared to other villains, where he's here, it counts. Because he's very much the personification of, more so than Sam, on like the sliding scale of Nate, Sam, and Rafe. He's like treasure hunting to such an extent that he will burn everything down to make it happen, whereas Nate recognizes his boundaries, Sam will burn himself down for the treasure, Rafe will burn everything down for the treasure. And that's very much the philosophical, like, thematic point at the heart of this.
I guess what makes sense about Rafe is that clearly he has never considered the consequences of his actions.
Never.
Like, that's kind of a staple of the privilege thing going on. So it's not like he's thinking, oh man, if I have this sword fight in this burning pirate ship, I might die. No, why would he consider consequences now?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is interesting that he's like doing the fencing step, the advance, where you know you move the front leg forward, whereas Nathan is just kind of like swinging wildly.
Yeah.
That's the nation trick I hear so much about.
Oh, they noticed my infinite power reference.
Done here.
Hell yeah.
I'm taking my brother and we're leaving. You want to stay and burn with the ship, you be my guest.
You got it.
I think what would have made this really funny is if it periodically cuts from like this crazy dramatic interior to like Elena and Sully like waiting on the plane, or Nadine like buffing her nails, checking her phone. When's my pickup getting here already? And like you can hear the like muffled fight music and shouting from this. Nothing is funnier to me than muffling a soundtrack like it's coming through the other wall.
Yeah. Also, since Rafe mentions can't fence for shit, we definitely know our boy fenced back in the day.
Oh, absolutely.
It's an expensive sport, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, what with all the sabers you break and...
Yeah. Find you a club that has equipment on hand.
All of it.
You want the treasure, Rafe? It's all yours.
Oh, God, I love
That's
that.
what that was. I was like, what was that sound? Because from my perspective, Rafe is still pointing the sword at his head.
Yeah.
But I've seen this cutscene before, so I'm like, ah, here it is.
Hey, come on, let's get you out of here.
There he goes.
He got Looney Tunes.
He got Looney Tunes.
He did.
And it's funny because it
If
plays
only
on the
there'd
trope
been a
of
piano
like,
in there.
it plays on the trope of in video games, players never look up, whereas Nate is on the ground, so of course he's looking up, but Rafe doesn't consider any consequences. He's just lording over Nate right now. It's great. And this is cool because Sam's like, look, I got it. I got what I needed. I'm good. Save yourself, because that's what Sam's always been about. He's always wanted this for him, but he never wanted to put Nate in danger. Well, that's not true. After the 3/4 mark of the game, he stopped wanting to put Nate in danger.
Yeah. He eventually grew a consciousness back, and then he was like, oh yeah, sorry, conscience.
Stress me. Damn it. Let's get your head down.
I love Nate's problem-solving abilities.
Yeah.
You were one crazy son of a bitch. I just want to know it. Come on.
Don't worry, I'll save you. I found this cannon.
Eco boom.
That's our way out, Nathan. Come on.
Maybe
I also
water
like
will
that
put fire.
the fire is making the guns shoot off.
Yeah. That's a fun little detail.
Yeah. I also like that all the sound is cutting out. Not that we can really hear it over the sound of each other talking right now.
Yeah, I mean, I can't hear it at all, but... Would be kind of fun if once the ship fully submerges, Sam is like, I mean, the gold's just a little melted. We can totally get back down there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Still
Rafe's
probably
dead,
works.
so...
Yeah.
He, like, gets a goblet off of Rafe's corpse and, like, stuffs it in his back pocket. No one will know.
Nobody would know. Nobody.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God. The only good joke in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Because he improvised it.
Yeah.
Oh, quick little bastard. I miss him already.
Oh, Nate! Nate! Hey!
Wait, I actually think I remember why they can't go back to salvage it.
Are you okay?
Oh, does the whole thing fall down?
I think it does.
Was Rafe a load-bearing boss? God damn it! Wow, amazing that it lasted for hundreds of years and it only collapsed just now.
Wait, did you say
Or, like,
load-bearing boss?
Sam's like... Yeah, load-bearing boss. It's a technical term for when you beat the boss and the base starts collapsing around them.
Okay. Never mind. I thought I remember the whole mountain collapses, but no, it's just sealed in. You can get in there with some C4. Get a crew, you'll be fine.
How funny would it be if Sam was like, we'll be back next year for the gold, and like leans on a rock and it like depresses like a button and the whole mountain just collapses? Did I do that? Womp womp. Nothing to do but watch this ending cutscene.
Yeah. There are a couple, so depending on how much of the ending we want to actually go through, might be here for a little bit.
Yeah, I think so.
No problem.
But
Yeah, feel
Cyan
free to sell
should
it.
be getting back from work
1700
sometime
viewers.
soon.
Sure, I can't give you a lift home.
Hey, cool.
After the last few days, I think I'd like a plane with drink service and reclining seats. Plus,
Guys, don't sass the fact that the cannon still worked. Of course the cannon still worked. It's video game
No more
rules.
late-night
It's a very
phone
simple
calls.
mechanic.
One last.
Gunpowder, fire. Like, come on.
Yep.
thanks.
Oh, I just...
You know the game is ending.
Here, kid.
Yeah, hugs.
Be a stranger.
I also saw another thing I
Oh,
want
I
to
was-
talk about was an article that I saw online, which was aqueducts and thousands of Hellenistic era artifacts discovered
Yes.
during archaeology dig in the port of Piraeus in Athens, which is shit that happens so much in Greece. It's like we were just trying to build a metro station, but we found all of these artifacts, so now I guess we have to build a museum into the metro station to house all this cool stuff we found. I think I mentioned this before, but my grandpa lives in a very small town on the other side of the mountain in Athens, or outside of Athens, and it's like they were trying to fix a water pipe and they found like all this like ancient like Roman era stuff, and it's like, oh well, take a bunch of pictures, we don't have any space for it, so we'll just put it back, we know where to get it if we need it.
Oh god.
Yeah,
I
but
was gonna
only
say,
in Greece.
you know
only
the
in
game's, yeah, you know the game's ending because they put Nathan in a clean white shirt, and we can assume it's not gonna get all dirty and gross.
Greece. Yeah.
Listen, the offer
Yep.
still stands.
He's in a thermal instead of a Henley.
Yeah, but if you feel like you're imposing, you're not talking about it.
His adventuring days are behind him.
It's a little bit of that.
Yeah.
but
Yep, totally.
I just kind of thought that after we found Avery's treasure, I'd be
Someone says, is blue Greek?
satisfied.
Could you not tell from my overwhelming Mediterranean classical bias?
Kind of left with this strange feeling.
To be fair, you could just be any historian with that vibe. But,
Yeah. I'm also half Scottish,
Yeah.
which is where I get my overwhelming anti-England bias. Which, as far as I'm
I mean-
concerned, it's not so much bias as it's just telling the whole story, so, you know.
yeah, I mean, it's just like, if you state it as, like, unbiased as possible, you're still listing, like, a million atrocities.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna pretend like I don't think this is bad, because it was, and is. But,
I'll have a lot more to say about that
The
in
funny
some of the
thing
later
is,
videos this year.
yeah. The funny thing is, a while back, I was, like, researching my family tree, and there's some Scottish, there's some Irish, and then there's, like, one little branch that's, like, 12 generations of English. And the funny thing is, the Scottish and the Irish stuff, I run out of, like, family members I can find information about very quickly. But someone was like, yes, I'm going to track 12 generations of this random English family, where, like, 6 of the dudes are named Edward. And I was like, this is the most... that's English privilege right there.
Free time,
But,
man.
So,
Yep.
A lot of free
Yep.
time in the 17 and 1800s.
Yeah, I guess.
It's like, yes, lots of
But
culture.
yeah, you-
yes, very good.
Yeah,
Like,
before I
important
got
things
dragged
happen,
into this.
but, like...
I was
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it was a lot.
sorts. Dangerous?
This is
For
fun. I
the
like
person
what they
saying,
set up here.
It's up there.
oh yeah,
Sorry, go
who
ahead.
aside from the
Well, I
English
just
doesn't
happened
have
to
an
know
anti-English
someone
bias?
recently
Well,
in prison
that's
who
fully
thinks
true.
this
But
guy-
also, there are many people who are like part English,
you
part
trustworthy?
other stuff, who are like, no, fuck those guys.
Portuguese.
Like almost all like Americans these days,
Quando seu
or you know,
amor voltou para casa,
like Americans who are descended from the like wave of immigrants from Europe. You know what? I shouldn't have cited America as if it has any kind of consistent cultural like background or
You got
whatever.
any more of those cigars?
But the English descended Americans especially are like, no, fuck those guys. But it has been replaced with, you know, American stuff, which isn't really better.
You get two sides of it. You get like, ah, yes, this beautiful colonial history, up until we decided, fuck that, and then we left.
Yep. Yep. Well, a big part of the American Revolution was because the American colonists were very upset that they were being treated like a colonized country and not like Englishmen. It's
Actually,
like, hey,
all things considered, the American colony was treated very well because it was a settlement colony rather than a conquest colony. I don't really have a better word for it, but it was like,
Yeah.
we went to a place where there was big asterisks, nobody living there, and we put in our new cities, as opposed to we showed up in India where there was already lots of stuff happening and just put our things on top of it. So the difference of like settlement colony versus conquest colony ends up having a lot of different implications for like how the histories play out. Like Canada, largely a settlement colony, Australia and New Zealand, largely settlement colonies, in a way that like most of Africa, India, and a good amount of the Caribbean was. Oh, Red, did you just drop out?
The sap was gonna buy this place.
Oh,
Oh, are you back?
What?
Red, I cannot hear you.
yes, hello.
Okay, there you
Sorry
go.
about that. Can
But
you
I
hear
was
me?
just saying.
Hey, wait,
What's up?
man?
Oh,
Hey.
Are you all right? Why'd you scream?
sorry. When you said, I went, and then you were like, oh,
What are you doing here?
because you said I can't hear you.
Just thought I'd
Oh,
take, you know,
okay.
Wait, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. I think you're on a weird delay.
Is this for real?
But
I think so,
basically,
too.
you can tell there's a difference in what kind of colonies were put down based on who's living there now. So the colonies that were like,
You got it.
we showed up to this place that was mostly empty and built stuff there, are now largely inhabited by English-speaking, predominantly, you know,
You're buying
white
Jameson Marine?
colonies that broke away in the 17, 18, and early 1900s. America, Canada, New Zealand, Australia.
Yep.
And then all of the other places that were colonized that have since
Why?
left the sphere of the British or also
this rumor
French
about a salvage
empires
shop
in the
off
case of
coast
other
Malaysia.
places.
That would be right up our alley.
Are, you know,
We
going
barely
back
got
to their
out
own
of
culture
the
because it
entire
was
life.
never that it was like
Hey, taking
really
a little child?
a
You know what that leads
you know,
to.
I guess in America's case, like a
said it
settlement that was
wasn't
built there by predominantly British people. It was like, we showed up to this place, put our stuff on top of it, and when it stopped being profitable, we left, and you know, we're gone. So you can see the difference in what kind of colonization was being done, and that legacy on what those places look like now. So.
Oh, absolutely. It just is interesting that that a big motive behind the American Revolution was that the English colonists who came to America thought of themselves as English, and they were outraged that they weren't being treated that way.
Yeah.
Like the only thing that that plays in my mind when I think about this is that bit in Avatar near the ending where where Ozai's like, "No, Azula, you won't accompany me on the fight," and she says, "You can't treat me like this. You can't treat me like Zuko." And I was like, "Oh, she said the quiet part out loud. Okay." But you know that's the thing. Like, no, you're not allowed to treat me like you treat everyone else.
Yeah. God, you can't treat me like Zuko.
It's such a good line. It really just encapsulates everything about how fucked their relationship is with Ozai.
Yeah. For more on Avatar, watch any Trope Talk or any video that Hello Future Me has ever made, and you will have excellent analysis in spades.
Camera. Good stuff.
But yeah, all things considered,
all the cargo up from the drive, we could hire, you know,
the weird hierarchy of like places within the British Empire and how they viewed each other is weird. Like, Scotland was second-class citizen in the union between England and Scotland until Scotland was basically given carte blanche to go stomp on Ireland, and then Ulster plantations and all that. And no, really. Because Ireland
I agree.
was largely ignored until England figured out that they could use Scotland to oppress Ireland. And this was a very, very common trope. The Irish who left for America, some of them went to the north, some of them went to the south. The Irish men and women who were in the southern states when they split were heavily leaned on to do a lot of the, you know, fighting and yada yada yada, specifically with the promise of like, oh, if you help us oppress a class of people that's lower than you, you're gonna get bumped up the ladder, buddy boy, and it worked. And that's a thing that happens all the time, where, you know, in British India, it's like, oh, these, you know, this Rajput class of people are, you know, Indian, but since we're giving them status to do our work for us, we don't have to feel like we're doing all of the stomping. We're just empowering other people to stomp on their own countrymen, but, you know, it's not our shoes that are getting, you know, messy. So it's a thing as old as time itself, is like, use one oppressed group to oppress a more oppressed group, and then you don't have to feel bad about it, because look, you're bringing them up, except not the people on the bottom. Just the people in the middle are getting brought up.
Like, that's so creepy, because I've seen it pointed out that that's a thing that happens in America. Like, people in power have been turning, like, lower classes and more marginalized people against each other. And, oh god, seeing how old that playbook is really creepy.
Yeah, no, it's an incredibly old
because
playbook.
I'm gonna have my hands
but I saw it framed as like, because if they figure out that there's more of them than us, we lose. So we gotta turn them against each other. But the idea of like weaponizing a lower class group against the rest of the lower class by promising them a seat at the table, I mean,
I mean, like,
England, come on, man.
Look at what the past, like, 5 years in America has been. It's like, oh, you feel like you have been put down in some way and have been left behind by the economic recovery. That is a thing that happened. The gains of the recovery since 2008 have not been distributed equally. But then after that, it's like, oh, you know whose fault that is? Mexicans. And then off you go to the races.
Anyone else.
We're playing Crash Bandicoot again.
Woo!
I'm gonna die. It's okay.
Yeah. Oh man, but yeah, that's yeah. Why are people so gross?
Old as time.
I guess.
Sorry, I'm very focused on playing Crash Bandicoot because this is one of the hardest parts of the game.
Yeah.
Ooh, no, heck. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ooh. I'm surprised I made that one.
This is such a goofy framing sequence for the game, by the way.
Yeah.
Begins and ends with Nathan Drake playing Crash Bandicoot on a simulated PS2.
Well, you saw in the beginning where you're playing Crash Bandicoot, right?
That's why I said it's a framing sequence, and a very funny one. Oh god. It's like how the Sonic movie decided to make its framing sequence Olive Garden, because when you're here, you're family.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, Oh, have you not watched the Sonic movie?
No, I've not watched the Sonic movie, Red.
Honestly, I had a great time. I was expecting the worst, but like, and listen, if they hadn't redesigned Sonic, that movie would have been terrible, because that movie entirely sells itself on Sonic being lovable and cute. And if he weren't, it wouldn't have worked at all. But possibly because of that redesign, there's 2 extremely blatant Olive Garden product placements. One fairly early on and one right at the end. The one fairly early on is when the cop character is like calling his fiance or spouse, I don't remember what their relationship is, and is like talking about something, and then he's like, yeah, I was thinking maybe I'd go to Olive Garden, and she's like, because when you're there, and then he says, your family, and I was like, what? Yeah. And then at the end of the movie, they are given a special accolade from the president for their secret role in the plot of the movie, and it's an Olive Garden gift card.
Wow.
And then they just talk about their infinite breadsticks for a while, and I was like, is this real?
Red, while the camera's panning,
like
get ready
poop.
to be surprised by who's on the other side of it.
Oh.
Ta-da-da!
What? Who is that? Is that their... Do they have a kid? Is that their kid?
Time skip.
They have a kid and a dog? This is the best!
Yep. So this is actually the reason that... Old school, yeah, right. This is the reason that Uncharted 4 actually was delayed by a handful of months, because they had this idea to put in this epilogue, and they're like, oh, wait. We need time for this. So they added this this amazing epilogue with a
This is
dog.
beautiful. Hello, future sequel series protagonist.
Yeah.
Having a good time?
Let's see what you got. Mom has weird taste in music, but I kind of like this one.
Notice that they have a very well-furnished house with lots of artifacts.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah. There's only so moral I expect these treasure hunters to be in their retirement.
And I don't want to spend too much time in here, because there's a lot of like stuff that you can just pick up and read and whatnot. But we'll see more later. Where do I leave? That Elena and Native become quite the famous pair.
They wouldn't even
Oh, that's... You know what I really like about this? I think this is why they spent so much time in that old lady's house.
Mm-hmm.
Because it contrasts with this, because this is a big house full of cool stuff. But it feels lived in. It's like kind of messy. There's a dog, there's,
now,
fun stuff.
I see what
and
you
light
mean.
coming in the windows.
And at the end of the game, yes, it does make for a very good contrast. This is not, or a very good contrast. This is not the reason that it was done like that, because this was added at the very end, but that was always like that. Yeah.
Well, it's nice how it worked out then.
Sully's given up smoking, but he's in Cuba. Oh, that's hilarious. Fantastic.
Oh, this is so sweet. This is a good way to do the catharsis. Just kind of like letting the time skip. I often don't like time skips, but I think this one really works because it's basically like, it's like saying, and then they lived happily ever after, and showing us a little bit of it. Like, yep, they had a great happy marriage. They had a kid. The kid is like a I don't know, like 11 or 12 right now or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's in a beautiful location, and they're having a great time. Yeah. That it's because sometimes happily ever after feels kind of empty, but in this case, it's like, no, this does look happy. Yeah. And I like that.
I wish I could press the X button to do like Drake's doofy jump.
Hut.
And not here either.
And this is where all the cool stuff is.
Oh, heck yeah.
Just doing some casual archaeology.
This is a good ending.
Good job cleaning this
Just
up.
drawn out.
Yeah.
Although this is kind of funny because it's like, this little side house is very respectable house sized.
Yes.
Their main house is like ridiculous.
Oh, here comes Cyan.
Oh, heck
Hi,
yeah.
dear. We're just finishing up the stream.
Hello.
Yeah, so this is the magazine where she's treasure hunting runs in the family.
Aww.
Yeah, so Nate and Elena are by this point very famous. Not treasure hunters, but explorers and a Rick Steves, but with more artifacts.
That is beautiful, and I
think
love
there's
it.
a couple things in the fridge where there's like a magazine cover with their faces on it or something. Yeah, but then here we have the cupboard of stuff that will be unlocked. That apparently is locked because they don't want their daughter to just go snooping around in all of this stuff from games 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Oh. They have the El Dorado sarcophagus in the basement.
Yeah.
They're like, do not open, seriously.
Yeah, St. Dismas Cross.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, real quick, the size of the house reminded me, I have a blog recommendation for people. Look up McMansion Hell. It is hilarious. It is just about some of the truly ridiculous custom-made houses that were built during the housing bubble that are now, like, on sale. And, it's run by a very, like, learned architect type, and it's just really, really funny.
Yeah.
So, yeah, recommend it.
McMansions are such
Anyway,
a nightmare.
artifacts. They are, God. I drove through part of Michigan that was just, like, one McMansion after the other. And listen, I'm not going to tell, like, wealthy house owners how to live their lives, but it feels like the point is kind of ruined if your backyard backs up against another person's McMansion, right? Like, isn't the point the illusion of, like, being the lord of your own lands? I don't know.
Hello.
Is there a naughty Cleocatra I hear?
Yeah, Cleo might be knocking over the food bowls. We just got a mat, so hopefully she doesn't knock the stuff over as much.
Ah.
She'll still knock it over, but now it won't go everywhere.
Ah, gotcha.
Huzzah! Oh, this is really cute. I really like this ending.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just a little book with various treasure hunty stuff in it.
Henry Avery. The Gunsway heist.
Yeah. Anyway.
Wait, did you go looking?
There's more stuff here. You can watch a playthrough of this game where someone spends more time on it. But for the purposes of this stream, we're just pretty much wrapping it. Oh my god, almost 45 minutes exactly. I was so close to correct. And then
you predicted it well.
Flip. Ta-da! The picture that we took a long time ago.
Is that Dad?
Woo!
Back in the dumb part of the game.
Heh.
Sic Parvis Magna. Greatness from small beginnings.
Zoom? Yeah.
What's this?
Found this on my old camera. Thought you'd like to have it. Oh, look at that. It's from Uncharted 1? Gosh.
I can't wait to see it when it loads in 30 seconds.
Hey, there you are.
Ta-da!
Hey!
Been looking for you.
Aw.
What are you doing in here?
Looking for you guys.
I also love that she is so clearly both her dad and her mom's daughter. Like, she has so much of both of their traits. It's fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
I just need to.
Got the smarts of Elena and the inability to come up with a convincing excuse of Nathan.
Yep. Oh, okay, Cassie.
I was in Malaysia. Looking at old photos.
The old Malaysia gambit. Let me guess, you were having tea with Hector Alcazar too.
Yeah, Hector Alcazar made me open that cabinet. Oh, this is cute. I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, I said don't be mad.
You can't be mad. I said don't be mad. That's cheating.
So.
Fantastic.
What did you see?
Nothing really.
What did you see, Cassie? Oh, I saw your body count from Uncharted 2 when every game journalist started throwing around the term ludonarrative dissonance, but other than that, not a lot.
In a shotgun.
You know, I kind of... Oh, man. In the age of serious Harry Dad games, I kind of hope we get a sequel where it is mostly like this young kid doing the cool adventure thing, and like Nathan and Elena show up in like the third act as the cavalry to like help her out.
That'd be hilarious.
Like, because they are so badass. It would give us this time to like learn how to play this new kind of game all over again with this new character. But what, you know, kind of like how Elena showed up in the third act of this game to help out Nate. Only in this case, it's like two incredibly badass, like treasure hunters with
Wait,
years of
which cartographer are we
experience
talking about?
helping out their teen daughter on her, like,
She's
you know,
older
Lara
than
Croft
Sam
style
and
Tomb
Sally
Raiding
Hall.
adventure.
It's different.
I just think that could be fun. I mean, this is also a great ending on its own.
Yeah.
It could be cute.
I think there's a chance that we get another like spin-off game in the vein of Lost Legacy, which came out I think 2 years after this one did.
Oh, yeah.
Because there are great characters. I think the Nate story is probably a little tied up, but there are options they could play with, and I think after The Last of Us Part 2, Naughty Dog has to have something in the pipeline. So who knows? Unless they make a new Crash Bandicoot game.
Yeah, maybe that's what the foreshadowing was all about.
Massive historical.
And then this is Lena being like, yeah, so this doofus roped me into finding treasure in on an island in wherever.
She's supposed to look older, and she's
So this fraud. says,
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
Well, Nathan looks a little bit silver-haired, but otherwise they didn't change his model at all.
I totally.
Cyan says hi.
Hello.
Yeah,
I
Red
can
says
hear
hi.
her. Yeah.
I forgot which way the not hearing goes because I have headphones in. Cyan doesn't.
yeah.
But the microphone's in the middle of the room, so. Anyway,
After
yeah.
you found
We'll finish this conversation and then that'll be a stream, and we'll play some Ghost of Tsushima next week, assuming that I get my copy of the game on time. I was like, I don't really want to order from Amazon. I'll see if I can order direct from Sony. I feel like it would have been delayed either way, because that's where the stock is coming from. It's like, hell am I gonna brave the plague and go into a GameStop? God, no.
Hell no.
Yes, it is. You are correct. But it's like going into a store. Get out of here.
Just his
Get
journal.
out of here.
Doesn't matter.
Put your toys away, honey.
Yeah, I got bread from the grocery store
That's
this
the
morning.
legend. Turns out it
It's in
was
the
a
bread box.
statue. A cursed statue.
No way.
Wait, they're actually making another Crash Bandicoot?
But
God
Are
damn
they?
it. The comments say so.
Oh. Huh. Well, maybe. I don't know. News to me.
Maybe. Yeah, I guess. Oh, this is adorable.
Right. This is
Oh,
this
this
is a
ending is
great
so good.
epilogue. This is how you wrap a story. And honestly, that's why I feel like we're probably not going to get another Nate game, because they end it so well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then ta-da! And that is Uncharted 4. Thank you all for coming on this laggy journey with us.
Yeah.
Whoops.
part of the charm.
But this was fun. I don't know, Red. What did you think?
I thought it was really sweet. I mean, you know, we rag on it a bit, but
Oh, yeah.
fundamentally, we had a good time, and it's a really sweet story.
Yeah.
And we didn't get so much ludo-narrative dissonance this time, so it's easier to focus
Yeah.
on, like, oh, it's a fun time.
Yeah.
Good game. Good
I
girl.
think it's you know, we rag on this game a fair amount, but it's in the context of like the weakest links in a fantastic game, as
Yeah,
opposed
yeah.
to like, here's this garbage that Naughty Dog's trying to pull over our eyes.
Yeah.
So everything that I say about Uncharted is said.
Said out of
in the
love,
knowledge-
I think,
yeah,
yeah.
out of love. When we rag on the one part that we don't like.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I'm
yeah.
firmly of the opinion that something can have as many flaws as it needs as long as you had a good time with it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, part of the reason I watch, you know, bad movies is because I think a lot of them aren't actually bad, and people judge movies based on like dumb criteria sometimes. And if I had a good time and learned something, then that's all it takes to be good in my book. So in this case, it's like, I think this is a good game. I think there are parts that could have been polished up, but that's true of all art, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you could always spend another year or two working on it, and then
Yeah,
once that's
exactly.
done, there's always more polish you could do. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, thank you all so much for watching. This has been a great stream. I'm glad we were able to finish it today. I wasn't sure that we would. I guess me turning it down to light difficulty made that a lot more possible than it would have been otherwise. I know.
No, I'm just taking...
All right, everybody. Thanks for a great stream, and we will see you probably next week.
Yeah, there were a few people asking if we were still going to be streaming on Thursday.